thought these weren't on, so.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Village of Royal Palm Beach Special Magistrate Code Enforcement hearing for Wednesday, December 12th, 2018. If you have a code enforcement issue, you are in the right place. First thing we're going to do is swear everyone in. So everyone, please raise your right hand and say I do when we're done. Does everyone swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Everyone raise the correct hand. How nice. And we'll do that once or twice more as strays come in here later because they always slide in. My name's Doug McGibbon. I'm the special magistrate. Most of our hearings tonight are going to be either violation or fine assessment hearings. Let me tell you the process for those. The village will call your name. You'll go up to that podium and identify yourself. They will show you some documentation. You get to object or not, and then you get to put in whatever evidence and documents you want. After that, I get to make a decision. That process switches for the fine mitigation hearings. Those people have already been through a violation hearing and a fine assessment hearing. They're asking for relief, so they will go first, and the village will respond to them. Is everyone signed in out there so that they know that you're here? Otherwise, we're going to get to the last of the live portion of our program, and we're going to be wondering why you're sitting there when you were on page 1. All right, with that being said, please take it away, Village of Royal Palm Beach.
Sure thing. Amity Barnard, Assistant Village Attorney. We're starting on page 1 of the agenda. Fine assessment hearings, case 18-1385, 209 Las Palmas Street, Leonardo F. Molina and Alexandra N. Naranjo.
Gail McLean, Code Enforcement for the Village of Royal Palm Beach. I'd like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, the order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay. You have a service via posting. You can proceed. Please state your names for the record.
Leonardo Molina.
Okay.
Alexandra Naranjo.
Thank you. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the affidavit of service for the order finding violation. This is a copy of the order finding violation. Oops, page 2 of the order. Do you want one? Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website. And Exhibit 3 is a photograph of the violation. Do you have any objection to these documents?
No.
Thank you.
All right, admitted without objection. All right, so parking a boat is okay, but not on the grass?
Right. He miscalculated when he measured his boat. He thought it was going to fit on the side of his house. So he has pulled a driveway permit. So he will be in compliance once he has the permit and can park it correctly.
So are
It can-
we going to do a,
Continuance, yeah. We'd be asking for continuance, yeah.
okay, well, you're going to learn how expensive concrete is. I thought it was cheap. My neighbor did a pad for his camper years and years ago. It was $1,800, and then some lady came in and said, this little spot we had to do was $4,200, so believe me, a big boater, had one for 25 years, loved the thing, but you got to take care of it. All right, when are you bumping this to?
We'd ask to be continued to require compliance by 12/27 or appearance at the 1/9/2019 fine assessment hearing or a $25 a day fine.
Does that give
Does
your
that give him enough
contractor enough
time to
time?
do it? That's my problem. If we're looking at compliance before the day after or 2 days after Christmas, I'm probably thinking another month.
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't we give them,
Compliance by the 8th of February,
yeah, 2/8 would be much better. Or the 2 whatever
the
meeting.
2/13 hearing.
Yeah, that way, or a $25 fine.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Work for you?
Yes, sir. I already got the permit, so I was just
That-
waiting on the utilities to be marked.
Yeah, you have to wait on the utilities, you have to wait for the guys to set you up, you have to wait for them to get the forms and pour everything. And then you have to wait
Yeah.
for the holidays and everyone who doesn't want to do work, so I think another month will be better. All right, I will
Okay.
sign that order. Thank you, granted.
Thank you.
Moving to the top of page 2, case 18-1485, 111 Fairway Lane, Joseph K. Maziel.
Okay. Are you Joseph? I think not.
I'm the sister.
Okay, and your
Woodley.
name is?
Woodley.
Woodley?
Woodley Mezia.
Okay, sister. All right, put on your case, please.
I'd like to enter into evidence the Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, AS 400 information showing that no permit has been pulled.
Okay,
Did I don't think I included that.
yeah, I have the
Oh, okay.
sheet. What are they doing? Because normally I have a picture of a, I don't know,
They
water
did-
heater at the
yeah,
street or a window.
I
being-
presented that in the previous hearings. They did some roof work. I'm not actually sure the extent of what all they did.
Well, okay, so they did some roofing work and we're at the fine stage, and they saw it come in compliance.
I mean, I'll show you the pictures.
My keyboard?
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence.
No.
Exhibit 1 is the order finding violation. Second page of the order, as well as the mailing, certified mailing. Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website. And Exhibit 3 is the ISO 400 permit information. Do you have any objection to these documents?
What exactly are they? What do they say?
Well, this document is the previous order finding violation from the last hearing, which as I recall, I think you appeared at. Exhibit 2, this is just showing proof of ownership for the owner of the property. And then this is the permit information from the village's permit database showing that no permit has been filed.
Counselor? You may want to come pull these pics so you can show her where the hole in the fascia was and how it was fixed. I don't need us taking
This is
pictures.
the
Oh, there, you had it?
Fourth exhibit, all but one of these.
how they normally
No, all of these
show
were shown
you.
at the previous hearing,
Ah,
showing the roof.
That's come up on it anyway.
okay.
This is the one, Doug, where I had stopped the handyman there and told him that a contractor needed to be doing the work.
No, I saw a hole in the fascia, I saw a repair in the fascia. You've proven your case if there's no roofing permit issued, so.
Any objection to these documents?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so the problem in this case is, you see there was a hole in the fascia, or that part of the roof that comes down. That was July, I believe that picture was.
Was
And then-
taken?
What? The picture that was taken with the holes were in July.
Okay.
And the next pictures were in October, where they showed a repair, and someone had done a nice job of replacing the wood there, but there's still no permit to do that, and it's a roof job, and the village requires that roofing work be permitted.
Everything was done before October 10th. When I came here on October 10th and I was told that I need a permit, everything stopped.
Did you get a permit?
I couldn't get it because the house is under my brother's name and he passed. After I left here, I talked to a lawyer and I asked what I need to do. First I went to the village somewhere to ask for a permit. They said, you cannot pull the permit because you're not the owner. But my brother, before he passed, he gave me papers, gave me authorization to make all decisions that I can. Since he was not a lawyer and we didn't consult a lawyer, so I didn't know what I could do with that paper. I assumed that I can do anything, including if I need to get something fixed or repaired. I knew that I couldn't do it until I came here and talked to a lawyer. They said, you cannot. Only the owner can pull the permit. I said, how do I get the permit now? They said, the only people who can do it since your brother passed is his two sons. My nephew, one is here and the other one is in Orlando. And then I said, how long it will take to pull the permit? They said it will take 3 months because there is something called probate. That's what the lawyer told me. you're gonna have to change the deed. That means the lawyer will go to court and the deed will change to my nephew's name, and then at this point, when it's done, we will be able to pull the permit. And he said that it will take like at least 90 days or more. So from that date, after the, like, October 20 something, I came back to this office, the one across, and I said, can I have an extension? Because I just talked to a lawyer, and at this time it was about 8:24, and I talked to Gail. I said, can I get an extension? She said, no, you have to wait until you come back here and discuss your case. So I just had to go back home and wait. And this is when she gave me that letter saying that I need to come here on December the 12th, which is today,
Well,
to see what can be done.
The time to really show up was when you got the violation notice,
That
whatever
was
date
October
that was.
10th.
She
It was
came,
December. She was at the
she
hearing.
came to the.
I came here.
And do we give her additional time?
Yeah, we gave her two months essentially.
more
to
months.
apply.
Did you apply for the probate case?
You can't. I can't. The only person who can do it is my nephew. And the lawyer, I have to tell you, you need a plan or budget. He asks like $2.75 per hour to start. And even if I was able to start at that time, I wouldn't make it to December 12th
Okay.
because he said 90 days. All I need is an extension so we can start the process now with the lawyer.
See, I've already given you one extension to start the process. Number one, the lawyer who talked to you, I don't know how much probate he does. I do a little. I'm doing a couple right now. There's a statutory fee schedule. It's not by the hour, it's by the amount of the estate.
That's what
It's
he
usually
told me.
3% of the estate. Okay? And they can't charge you by the hour. They might get a small retainer from you, but they usually don't do that.
And I
And
talked
then-
to two lawyers.
You know, so you still don't have a probate started, correct?
No, not yet.
Okay. What you really, and that's gonna take months. It may take longer than 3 months. It's gonna be out for a while. What you really need to do is hire a contractor to pull a permit, and that would take so little time and require no intervention by a court. And you
I-
could have done this or asked this question a couple months ago when I signed the order, because I gave you a couple extra months, and now I sit here seeing you before me again. He was passed away at that time, right?
I didn't know a contractor can do that. All I know is that they said only the owner can pull the permit. That's what they told
Only
me.
the owner can pull an owner-builder permit, because the owner has to own the property, it has to be homestead, and he can pull a permit. Anyone can hire a contractor who is qualified to do roofing, and the contractor can pull the permit. If you're waiting around for an attorney in probate, you're gonna be waiting around probably 3 to 6 months, while a $25 a day fine is gonna be running against this property.
But the reason I was I was trying to get the permit. I was told when I was here that I need a permit to do that job. That's the reason I was here. You need a permit to do this, because I didn't know I needed a permit to do that. So
And they told you you needed a permit, and you couldn't do
do
it, you couldn't do an owner-builder. They probably said you could hire a contractor.
I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about hiring a contractor who can pull a permit, because I was told only permit can be given to the owner, and the owner was.
You tell her that
I
she,
told, not only, I told the handyman when I stopped him that it needed to be done by a contractor. I told her in the office it needs to be done by a contractor because the property is not homesteaded. They could not get an owner-builder permit.
right, that's what I'm saying. The owner is dead, it's not homesteaded anymore, and even if it, you know.
It wasn't
And
homesteaded,
it wasn't homesteaded in the first place?
no.
So he couldn't pull it anyway. You would always have to get a contractor to pull this.
I
And the
didn't.
problem I see is you were given additional time. And if you would have done something, like hire a contractor or even hire the attorney, but you've done nothing. And
I
now,
did
now you're
something.
asking me for additional time when I've already given you additional time.
I did something, I just didn't know. Because I went to see a lawyer because I was told that only owner can pull a permit. And the lawyer
And
told
if the
me,
attorney would have been hired, at least you would have done something.
but it wasn't for
Hire
free.
an attorney. You didn't hire anybody.
But when he asked me
Hire a
for,
contractor. You hired nothing.
but I wouldn't hire the contractor because I know I needed a permit and the owner is the only person who can pull the permit. If I
That
knew,
information you keep saying is contradicted by her testimony. She said you could get a permit pulled by a contractor.
she didn't tell me that when I was here on the
Okay, she
10th.
said she did, you said she didn't.
She told me that here, that I could hire a
That-
contractor.
I told your handyman in the interim, when I first made contact on the property, I told your handyman, who you had here at the last hearing, that he could not do that kind of work, that he needed a contractor to pull a permit. And he told me he understood that work was out of his scope, and he would let the owner know that a contractor needed to pull a permit.
Did you tell me that?
At the time that you saw me doing that
When you were
facial,
doing the work,
Hold on,
yes.
sir.
Yes.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
my name Paul Jackson.
And you are the
The
contractor?
contractor. What's your name
I was the
again?
handyman.
Okay, what's your,
Paul Jackson?
Yes.
okay.
At the time that Miss Gail saw me doing facial, it wasn't the roof at that time. It was just only the facial which she saw
Fascia
me.
is part of the roof. Trusses are part of the roof.
But who was doing the roof work? Because there was a ladder there and there was plywood there.
The plywood wasn't for the roof. It wasn't for the roof.
Well, somebody had done roof on the main part of the roof, so.
Yeah, but the plywood wasn't for the roof.
All right, well, all of this work has not been permitted according to the
Right.
schedule. None of it.
At that time, though, like I was saying, at that time, when she saw me, I was doing facial. And when she looked up, she saw the opening, because when I pulled the facial off, that corner, must I say, the south side of the
There are
garage,
pictures of the corner. I've seen it.
it was, as soon as I pulled that piece of wood off, everything else fell down there.
Yeah.
That's on the facial. That was
Right,
just
and
facial,
I told you
not
at
roof.
that point, the only thing you could do was dry that in so that there was no interior damage, not to go any further, and you went ahead and closed it up.
You told me to.
No, I said dry it in. You went ahead and completed your job there.
How is anyone going to inspect your work if you could do it all? How can they see that you put the right amount of nails and things in?
It wasn't nothing but a little piece like this.
All it would have
18,
taken,
18 by
all it
16.
would have taken was a simple little permit to replace that, and no one would be here talking to me. And then we had the next problem of you
Yeah, but
talked
when-
to me, you were here, someone else was here. I gave you guys extra time.
And when she told me that I couldn't do that, I did stop.
I
And
know.
she
You stopped.
related
You
that
did the right
I
thing.
need to dry that in,
But-
so I
but
just,
she did not go forward with the contractor to get an actual permit. And then she didn't go forward with the attorney to get an actual probate. And I've already given her a couple of extra months, and now we're back at the same spot. And what can I rely on? That she won't do it again?
I'm gonna start right away because she said she talked to him. That means he could go and pull the permit.
I never told him he could pull the permit.
All right, we're just
Yeah,
running
Special
around in
Magistrate, we already
circles
have,
here.
the-
All right, what is the amount of the fine in this
it's been
case?
out of compliance for 13 days, so the fine's $325 and continuing until compliance is achieved.
325 plus continuing, it stops when you get a permit. Go get a contractor and go get a permit for this roof.
Okay,
Okay, I mean, that's what you could have done last time, we never would have even been here.
I just
Okay.
didn't know. I wish I knew.
I would have told you this last time if you would have asked. And this
Thank you.
is- Thank you. 325 plus continuing is granted.
Next, moving to repeat violations, top of page 4, 18-1807, 120 Heron Parkway, Rosita Eilis.
Margaret Hancock, Code Inspector for Village of Royal Palm Beach. Code Sections 14.4 and 1557, disabled vehicle, high grass and weeds. I observed the violation on 10/16/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/17/18. I received it back on 10/24/18. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, previous order finding violations. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
Okay, you have a signed green card, you have service, at least this one was fixed at one time. Your name, please?
Rosita Ellis.
Thank you. What happened to the disabled vehicles? That's still on or off?
They removed it.
Thank you. Okay.
They
take it
took
out.
care of that first and then the grass after.
Okay.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of hearing, notice of violation, and the signed green card. Exhibit 2 is affidavit of service of the notice of hearing and order finding violation. Here's the order finding violation. It's a second copy of the same thing. Exhibit 3 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website. Exhibit 4 is photographs of violations.
And what, okay.
Can you see this one again?
No, so exhibit this page, that page, and the other one is the same?
Yep, these are all
Okay.
exhibit 4, just all photographs of the different
Okay.
violations.
Okay.
And then exhibit 5 is the affidavit of compliance. Do you have any objection to these documents?
Well,
Just to the documents themselves, we can get to the merits. You
Okay.
can speak to the magistrate, but just about the documents. Any objections to these documents?
well, I mean, no,
You could
Okay.
say, go ahead.
because it's just the grass, the exhibit 4. But I'd mentioned that to her before with that. If I have any, like, I want to describe what that is, would I object?
No, you
can
don't
speak to the
object, you
magistrate
just tell
about
me what it
Yeah,
is.
that's not an objection to the
Okay,
actual documents.
okay,
You can
okay.
speak-
If you object, it's for another reason, hearsay, best
Okay.
evidence, all
Okay.
kinds of other
Yeah.
legal objections. All right, admitted without objection. All right, so she fixed the harder thing usually, which is a disabled vehicle.
Right, she removed that. She took care of the grass as well. There was, like she's trying to say, the one photograph shows you in their backyard, there's a very high spot of grass that was never taken care of for a while. She finally got it cut down somewhat, and she needs to work on maintaining that and getting it lower. And I guess her issue was it was a lot of tree stumps or palm legs or whatever, so she had a hard time getting that mowed down. But she did take care of that finally when I did my reinspection.
All right, so we don't have a continuing violation. What do we have?
Give us 1 second.
Okay.
What's this? Yes, okay, so it was out of compliance for a total of 22 days at $50 a day, so the fine amount is $1,100.
Problem here is it's a repeat violation, so you don't get the extra cure period. So that's why they're trying to do 22 days.
Okay. But the thing is that with the vehicle was not disabled. My mom happened to be out of town. The car was in the front of the yard. She just so happened to find it without the tag that day, but the car is registered and it does have a tag.
Not worried about the disabled vehicle. I've already drawn a line through that.
Okay,
It's really all your high grass and weeds in
And
one
that-
area.
My grass was all cut. I have someone that cuts the front and the back, so both of them are cut at the same time. What she saw was the stumps of a bamboo that was cut down a few years ago, and so it just has some weeds that grows around it. But for the most part, it's not so high. I think from the distance and how she zooms in, it just appears to her. She thought it was the grass. But when she came back there and saw that it was just the stumps that's there, and it's not like ridiculously high, you know, I'd never even thought to cut it because it's just, I've been wanting to have someone come with a stump grinder, but it's nothing that's, you know, outrageously tall. It just has like some weeds around it.
Okay. What's the response back?
Well, when I went out there and spoke with her, she had cut it down somewhat, so it was high.
But
And it is a lot of weeds, and
Lots of weeds in
it was-
between the
it was
bamboo.
very, you know, it was high and very visible when she
yeah, but that's what I was,
reinspection.
when she came, I hadn't done nothing to it at that time.
Well-
Because I was still already, I was like, I mean, I knew it was wrong that it was the grass, because I knew the grass at the time that she had came was cut. So when she came there to see it, I hadn't cut anything. Because
Well,
the person that
the-
cuts my grass was just there a week or two before.
Okay, well, they're saying that there's a spot in there that looks high. I say that looks high as well. It's over 12 inches. If there are weeds interspersed in among your, bamboo, that's like half the cases I have where someone has a planter that has high weeds in it too.
But
So-
I can show you the picture. I have not even cut it. When she saw it, there was nothing done to it. And it's just the way it looks from a distance when she took the picture. She thought it was the grass, but when she went up to it and the way she zooms in, it looks as though it's that, but it's
Well, it is
not.
grass and weeds.
But
Well, yeah, it's weeds around it because,
And we
you
talked
know.
about that when I was there, that you need to maintain that and get it cut down.
Yeah, you
Otherwise, it could
mentioned-
Could have just sprayed
Right
the,
back as a repeat violation.
No, I get it,
Yeah.
but when you mentioned that, I hadn't cut it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you seen it cut, I hadn't done anything. So if that
oh,
was,
that makes it even worse. You're not arguing that I did something and it didn't look good enough to them, or I did something and it's less than the 22 days. You're saying I didn't do anything and it doesn't matter because it's bamboo, but you're saying there are also weeds in there. And that's her charge, is high grass and weeds, and you could have gone out there with a thing of Roundup and killed the weeds.
no, I get it. But what I'm trying to say is if she saw it and it was okay from close up, and
She
I
didn't
hadn't,
say it was okay.
She said that I had
she
trimmed
saw
it.
She said you trimmed it and you tried to work on it.
right,
it
but I
had
hadn't done
weeds in
that.
it.
And it wasn't high when she had saw it before because I hadn't done anything from the time that she had took the pictures.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
But, obviously from what she told me that, I took it, I spoke to a couple people to see about having them, stump grind it to take it down because I've been wanting to level it out since we cut the bamboo, but it was something that was a repeated thing because it kept growing back. But it hasn't grown for a while. And, when she told me that, obviously I'm gonna keep it, maintained, and make sure that it's lower, but it's,
All I have before me right now is evidence that the problem existed for 22 days. That's all I have.
well, that's.
You can come back for a fine reduction hearing to explain the more of the issues to it, but right now, I have an area of your yard that wasn't
Okay, but can I
bamboo
show you the
that had-
picture?
Sure, please.
Okay. Who do I bring it up to you?
Bring it up to her so she can see it first, and then she gets to object, which she probably won't, and then you'll show it to me.
And what's the date of that photo?
Leaping movie. All right, so she's telling us this is a bump in her yard,
The large bump.
a large bump.
Do you have any pictures from during the date that it was out of compliance is the issue? Because if that's how it looks today, we're here talking about how it looked before
October,
November.
November.
Let's get you back to the record so you get on the microphone. And then repeat what you said, please.
Well, from a distance, it should appear smaller, not larger.
Yeah. From a distance, it should be, and.
Well, I don't
if
know
you-
how
you're
else
ju- You're
to
telling me
say
you
it. I
did
mean,
nothing to it, and, then it's a
Special
problem.
magistrate, she also had called Linda on the 6th of November and saying, questioning what the repeat violation was and everything. And Linda explained it to her and what needed to be done. And when I went out there for my reinspection, it appeared to me that it had been trimmed. It wasn't.
So that's why you
as
did an affidavit of compliance and stopped the
Right.
fines after 22 days.
I stick to by what I said. I had not, because even when she came, I was convinced and I was ready for her to come and see what was there because it wasn't what she said or what they had showed me on the images. She even thought it was the grass. And when I explained to her, she was like, okay, well, I'll come there and see. And when she
You've already
came up
said
to the
it's grass
stumps,
and weeds in among the stumps.
no, she thought it was the grass in the backyard that was not cut.
Okay.
And when I explained to her, I was like,
The
no, that's all the way in the
violation
back.
is 1557, which is for high grass and weeds. You've already testified that there are weeds in among the stumps. That was remediated after 22 days at $50 a day. It's an $1,100 fine. Granted.
Thank you.
Moving to the violation hearing, staying on page 4, case 18-1818, 854 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Omar Montoya and Reza Almenarez, excuse me.
Almenares, who knows? Now we're into violation hearings where I can actually give people time to fix things, and hopefully they will. Okay. You, ma'am, are?
Raiza
Raisa. How do you pronounce your last name?
Montoya, bueno, Almenares.
Thank you.
Montoya.
The code sections are 6190A and 124C. Structure is stained and and garbage can not screened. I observed this violation on 10/17/18 and got the green card back signed but not dated. I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay. Okay, you have a signed green card, you have service.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of hearing, notice of violation, and the signed green card.
Okay.
Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website. Exhibit 3 is photographs of the violation. Do you have any objection to these documents?
No.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So we have a garbage can that's sitting out in front of the fence and a structure that has staining. Is that correct? According to your pictures?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your recommendation for your,
We'd
Okay.
be asking for compliance by January 31st or appearance at the February 13th fine assessment hearing or a $25 a day fine.
okay. Garbage can's easy. You just have to move it back behind the fence.
Yes, I know.
So that'll take 1 minute. The staining of the structure, they gave you until January 31st. I'm just gonna be consistent with the prior case and make it 2/8. That gives them an extra week, gets them past the holidays a little bit more. 2/8, 2/13/25. That's what you gave me on,
Yeah, just
Case
double checking the date.
number
Yep,
one.
that's fine.
okay, 2/18, 2/13, $25. You can fix, and here's something for everyone in the room. You can go home and you can move your garbage can back tonight, but if you don't call code enforcement and have them come back and inspect it, there's no way they can tell you when you did that. So everyone wants to call code enforcement when they're done to proudly show off their work so they can stop this. So you're gonna get your garbage can back there in a minute, it won't be an issue. But the
more.
problem is your house is stained, you need to take
Yeah,
care of that.
we need paint.
I don't know if you pressure clean it'll work. Pressure clean it, call her and have her look. If it requires additional paint, she'll tell you. The sooner you get it done, the better. They want it till January 31st, I'm giving you till February 8th.
Okay,
That gives you a little bit more time past the holidays, you don't have to do it over
okay.
Christmas.
Thank you.
I was
Okay.
out pressure cleaning my back porch yesterday in 50-something degree weather, so,
Okay,
you know, you can do it, but you don't have
Yeah.
to until a little bit later.
okay.
My dog's got mud over it, so. All right, 2/8, 2/13/25, granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
Moving next to page 5, 18-1826, 218 Ponce de Leon Street, Caesar and Jeanette Leon.
Code section is 6190A, drive, sidewalk, and structure are stained. I observed this violation on 10/17/18 and got the green card back signed. I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
Oh,
He did some cleaning on it. It looks some better, but they may have to paint it.
I'm trying to figure out which house is which. He's the one. Okay, so he painted the front of it, I guess?
No, it's the side.
He's painted the side. Is his the one next to the one with the stone border thing?
This is with
on
the blue
wall?
roof.
Yes,
the blue
his is
roof?
the
This is
one,
the blue
yeah.
roof.
It looks
Because I'm just trying to figure out where it is when you get down to the 1212. Is he the one with the gray and the white? So it looks like the frontage has been taken care of. All right, signed green card equals service. You can proceed. Please state your name for the record, sir.
I'm Jorge Lopez. I'm actually the tenant. The
That's fine.
owners
You-
are
you
in
get to
New York.
qualify. Tenant.
Do you have anything authorizing you to speak on behalf of the owner?
She actually, she sent me I was told to get an email from her.
Yeah, if we could see
Sure,
that,
no
that'd
problem.
be great.
And, yeah, her husband's actually really ill and he's in the hospital, so.
And I'm just going to let him supplement the record with the email he's going to show you.
That's fine.
So he
So you'll
doesn't
get
have
that ready
to
in the course
print
of
it out here.
Shows right,
He can send it to you later.
there you are.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I've spoken to him previously and the owner of the property, and I know that they hold him responsible for those things on the property, so.
Thank you.
Oh, it's all fine. I'm letting him go forward anyway. It's just a question of, the driveway, sidewalk, and structure stained, is
Let me
that
get the
correct? Go
documents
get
in.
your
Yep,
things
hold
in.
on one second. These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of hearing, the notice of violation, and the signed green card. Exhibit 2, proof of ownership from property appraiser website. And Exhibit 3 is photographs of the violations. Do you have any objection to these documents?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay, admitted without objection. You can see the big difference in the lighting on the side there. On the brighter light, it doesn't look as stained, and the duller light, it looks really stained.
Yeah,
It's
the iPad pictures aren't that good.
so, what, has anything been fixed?
He tried pressure washing, but it's gonna need some more pressure washing,
Slash,
and it very well
the
might
prob-
need to be
that
painted,
sidewall
so.
probably looks like it's gonna need to be painted at least.
Right. I personally think it does. Like I said, I'm the tenant, and we've had the conversation about the paint there. When I moved in, I don't think it was in great condition, but I don't know the house. It's not my responsibility. I know you said it was my responsibility.
Oh, but
It's not. I helped them out because they're up in New York, and I'm kind of like a handy person. When I have time, I do this stuff for them.
That's fine, and
I did try to clean that, and I don't know. I think it got dark, and I didn't finish it. I work long hours right now. I'm a chef, and I got a lot of parties going on. So,
Season.
yeah, it's a season right now. So, and I might not have done such a great job on the end of it, but I tried. The first thing I did was the wall, and I think it just needs a coat of paint.
yeah, it does look like you
So,
just get a coat of paint on there.
The thing for her is like she sent me a picture. Her husband's, I don't know, he had a brain hemorrhage or something. He's got
I'm gonna give you time. I'm probably looking at the 2/8/2/13 timeframe. Does that give you enough time to get that one done?
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna have to talk to her. I'll let her know that it's 2/8. And I mean, if you can give me a little longer, because I don't know what her financial situation is right now, being that her husband's not working. Maybe she
We're
is.
talking a can of paint though. Well, actually, probably a couple gallons,
Right.
maybe $50.
I know. I'm just. Yeah. So
So you just have to.
I'm just gonna tell her that you said 2/8, and then we'll go from there and see how she handles that.
Yeah,
I might have to paint it for her.
2/13/25. Yeah, you're talking probably about $50 worth
Yeah,
of paint, a couple
it's not that
cans
much.
of exterior.
So she doesn't have to hire a contract. I'm not familiar with the area.
I don't think we
I'm from the West
require
Coast.
painting
No.
permits. It's
So we don't
just-
need a permit for that or
You
anything.
just
So I
need to
can,
get out there with a brush or a roller and.
or
have
if you
yourself-
wanted if she wanted to go a different color, like
There's no architectural review
it's-
board.
no,
It just
but
has to be.
It
but
has
she-
to be consistent.
Consistent with the
you know.
rest of the house,
so like if you do I mean if I was feeling nice and wanted to paint their whole house because I hate the color. If I just want to say I want to paint it gray and make it look nice, okay.
Yeah, that'd be beautiful. I just
Super.
did my interior in gray.
Yeah, I like the gray.
Still doing the trim. I hate paint.
I just hate that green color.
Yeah, okay. 2/8/2/13/25, you'll get a copy of someone will get a copy of the order in the mail. But you'll
Yeah, I
talk
don't
to her.
get those. They go up to her.
They go to the address on the tax collector's roll.
Right, which is in New York.
Which is required by state statute, and they figure if you're paying your property taxes, it's probably your good address.
Right. So 2/8/28.
February 8th, or she has to be back here at the February 13th hearing or face a
Okay.
$25
So I gotta
day
call
fine.
Gail by the 8th, before the 8th.
Well, you have to get it fixed before the 8th.
Exactly. Let's say. Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't call her if
If
it
you
was.
tell her like 2 days worth of fines will pay for the 2 gallons worth of paint that you
Right.
take to fix it.
Okay.
Unless you want to, deduct more out of there and take it off your rent and fix and
Yeah.
paint it. Because that would be wonderful and kind of expensive that she would save a lot of money on. So
Yeah.
I'll sign that order. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you.
Next.
Moving to page 6, 18-1764, 180 Sandpiper Avenue, Robesville, Rajadel Martinez.
Code Section 06190A1, 2, and 3, roof, planter wall, and driveway paint is weathered, front door needs repaired. I observed this violation on 10/3/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/4/18, and received the green card back on 10/16/18. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Para mostrarnos unas fotos.
Second house with a little decorative arch in the front of it. All right, you have a signed green card, you can proceed. All right.
Yeah, Robisbel. For me.
State your name again, I'm sorry?
Robisbel Rajader.
Okay, so you are the property owner, and your name?
Jose Acosta. I'm gonna help him with the language.
Translator? Public translating?
Oh,
I'm
I'm in the
also
wrong
concerned.
place.
Sure. These are the exhibits, so I'll go through this slowly,
Y
but
ellos te van a mostrar las fotos de lo que vieron.
Okay.
that the village wants to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is the notice of hearing,
Esta es la noticia para que tú vinieras a la reunión.
Okay.
the notice of violation,
Las violaciones
and the signed green card.
y la firma que usted hizo cuando recibió.
Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website.
Esta es la prueba de que tú eres el dueño de la propiedad.
Mm-hmm.
And exhibit 3
Y esta
is photographs of the violations.
esas son las fotos de las violaciones.
You're never on there. Oleander, next case.
And then can you ask him if he has any objection to these documents?
¿Tiene alguna objeción en contra de estas fotos o esas son las fotos correctas?
All right, admitted without objection. All right, let me see those again, please. Just want to look at some of the photos. All right, so I'll try to clip it back together for you.
I wrote it on the
Yes.
top there.
Yeah, Jose Acosta is the translator. Mr. Martinez is standing there. I didn't put the A, I put Acosta.
It's Acosta.
Yes. Okay, I'm just. Okay. 1211, looks a little, it's all lighting. All right, so we have dirty sidewalks and driveways, and we need some
Driveways,
repair.
planter wall, roof, and the front door needs repaired.
Right,
Which still need a permit if they're replacing the front door. They need to get,
what's wrong with the front door? Could you,
it's all rotted on the bottom.
okay.
And they did other work at the house as well that they need to get permits for anyhow.
All right. Tell me he needs a permit for the front door if he's going to fix it?
Yeah, what he was saying, telling me is that he wants to remove the gate if he needs a permit for that. Does he?
Just to remove that
Just to
front
remove
gate?
that rotten
No,
door.
you do not need a permit for
Okay, he's
that.
talking about the metal gate
Right.
that's rusted.
Yes.
If you're just
Yeah,
gonna
you
cut
don't
it
need a
out, just
permit for
cut it
that.
out.
Te lo puedes quitar, yeah.
All right, but you're talking about the actual front
The
door.
actual front door, the wooden,
Okay. If you're gonna,
Door.
you need to get a permit. Tell him once he gets the permit, he gets 6 months to replace it.
correct.
Ok, para reparar la puerta del frente se necesita sacar un permiso y tiene 6 meses para hacerlo.
6 meses.
Sí.
Okay, so all you have to do is get the permit within whatever time I'd say for the door.
Entonces 6 meses para arreglar esa puerta.
The other things have to be fixed,
Yeah, pressure clean.
pressure clean, basically.
The driveway will probably need repainted.
Está pintada la puerta.
And the problem is, once you paint a driveway, you are almost required to paint it till you die.
Yeah, el problema es
I've
que
had-
el problema es el driveway, tiene que pintarlo que te mueras.
I had a lady come in here, she tried 3 different kinds of acid. She tried paint removers, she could never get it done,
Sí, aunque tú le eches así de cosas, no vas a poder quitar. Yeah.
okay? Can't paint the sidewalks.
No
They
puedes
don't have a
quitar.
sidewalk. They're
Okay,
on
no sidewalks,
sandpaper.
okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, is this another 2-3?
Yeah, compliance by 2/8 or the 2/13 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Yeah, 2-8, 2-13, that's fine. All right, so I need him to fix this and get a permit by February 8th,
Para febrero 8 tenemos que sacar ya permiso y pintar todo lo que
or he has to come back on February 13th.
y tienes que volver aquí a la reunión en febrero 13.
When he gets them fixed, have him call code enforcement so they can verify and inspect it.
Cuando todo lo arregles, tienes que
Nice and
llamar
slow
a
and going.
enforcement para que ellos
Very
vayan
good.
a hacer la inspección.
And that's it. Tell them they'll get an order in the mail.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Moving to the top of page 7, 18-1831, 135, Ider Court, Sarah M. and Dadrian T. Bobo.
Code sections 91942, place or installed a fence without a permit and the fence needs repaired. I observed this violation on 10/18/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/18/18, and posted it to the property. I'd like to know the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4A is 400 permit information.
Okay. You have your exhibit 4 before your exhibit 3, but that's okay.
Yeah, those pictures.
All right, that looks nicely freshed wood,
Okay. No fence.
and that looks,
Needs fixed on the other side.
yeah, one side's nice and the other side's not.
Yep.
And there's a mess there, too.
Cleaned it up a lot.
Great. All right, service via posting is good. You're number 7.
Can you state your names for the record for me?
Yep, Sarah Bobo.
D. Adrian Bobo.
Thank you. Apologies for mispronouncing.
It's okay.
These are the exhibits that the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is affidavit of service for the notice of hearing. Notice of hearing. Notice of violation. Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from property appraiser website. Oops, out of order. Exhibit 3 is photographs of the violations. And Exhibit 4 is ISO 400 permit information. Do you have any objection to these documents?
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, you two are the owners of this house?
Yes.
And is it your homestead property?
Yes.
So you can apply for a owner-builder fence permit?
Yeah. We didn't. I didn't realize that we didn't need a permit because I didn't know it was like an existing fence. So we just did the panels. I wasn't aware that.
Yeah, there's some sort of 10% rule on a side, so if you do more than 10% of a side,
Any
Yeah.
one side.
any one side, you have to get a permit. It looks like you did half of the one, and you're gonna have to do half of the other.
Yeah.
It should be a fairly low-cost permit, and as you heard me explain to the person before you, if you get the permit, you have 6 months to get it fixed.
Okay.
So what you really just need to do is go down there ASAP and just pull a permit.
Okay. Now my question for you is, do we need to pull 2 permits to, to show the one permit, the side, and then the other?
Permit for the
everything?
fence. They'll come out and do one inspection when you're done. This is your opportunity to do whatever other patches you need to do
For the
under
fence.
that permit.
Okay.
Because if you got stuff on the side you want to fix, put it all in.
Okay.
Just don't say it's all just the front fence.
And then you have 6 months to complete
And
it
then you can
all.
have 6 months, and I don't care if it's dark, light, you know what I mean? If you do patches along the way.
Okay.
This is the best opportunity for you to replace pickets, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I mean, you could pull a permit for just the one side, but then if you wanted to replace the other side, then you're pulling another
You
permit.
have to pull another one.
So
Okay.
you save money by doing it
All
all
together.
under one permit.
Then
Okay.
you get one permit, one inspection, then you're clear
Get it all
out.
done.
Sound good? 2/8/213,
Yes,
25?
sir, or $25 a day fine.
2/8/213, 25.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Moving now to page 8, we're in fine mitigation hearings.
The whole party here.
Case 16-1587901, Palm Beach Trace Drive, Fernando J. Guzman and Maria C. Milstein.
It's me.
All right, you are?
I'm Terry Sullivan. I'm representing.
We have to put evidence in first, and then we'll get to you.
I just need his name.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, order assessing fine. Exhibit 2, request for fine mitigation. Exhibit 3, affidavit of compliance. And Exhibit 4, verification of ownership.
Okay. All right. Are we,
And your name again for the record is,
Terry Sullivan.
and your relation to the property?
I'm the AC contractor.
I remember seeing him before. Okay. There was some long story to this, wasn't there? Or a fairly long story?
Well, basically, it was a basic, pulled a permit for the AC change out. We did the change out, and somehow it fell through the cracks. And then I get a call from it's a condo, so there's a renter living there and then a property manager that manages this place. And she calls me up and says, hey, you got to get that place inspected. There's a hearing coming up. And I said, which place are you talking about? So she gave me the address and I said, let me look at my records. And sure enough, we missed it. So so I went right away, updated the permit, called in the inspection the next day or the day after. They came out and inspected it, passed the inspection. But they had already had the hearing before. She told me it was coming up, but it was already passed.
Well, they probably had a hearing before.
Yeah, whatever hearing that was, and then,
Yeah, so Special Magistrate, the respondent, or I believe it was this gentleman who appeared previously, you have signed a previous order mitigating the fine back in February of 2018.
Wow,
And it
okay.
was unpaid, so it reverted back to the original amount. So this is a second request.
Now, how much was the fine that I
The
reduced?
fine amount was $1,850, and you reduced it to the village's costs, which were $1,551.96.
Not much to take off because of the costs, okay.
No, and the issue we have is that we were here once, and he's essentially asking for a second reduction. So at this point, the village would be opposed to a reduction. He was here.
He was here, he got a few $100s off, he didn't pay it,
Correct.
now he's back.
no, I didn't realize that, because when I looked in the courthouse records, they were showing still the $300-something fine, and then when you hit me with another $1,500 fine, I said, it was $1,800-something. I didn't know you reduced it at all from that.
Well,
So what's the total fine on that?
Because it remained unpaid, you were given a timeline by which to pay that reduced fine amount, and it remained unpaid, so it's reverted back to the original fine amount, which is $1,850.
and I reduced it $300 to $1,500, and then you didn't pay it. That was in February of this year. And you're back again?
But when I came in here and I asked, when do I pay? And they said, no, you can't pay it here. And I didn't know when you're supposed to pay it. I was waiting for it to show up in the records. I'm looking at the courthouse, because I know it was a lien that you put against the property. So I was looking at the courthouse for
The orders mitigating fine are not recorded, but an order was provided and mailed to the respondent indicating what the date of payment was.
But you were here when I did it.
But who was that? Yeah, I was here. Yes, sir, I was here, but
And you said,
who would have gotten the letter?
the letter would have been the property owner.
Property owner, yeah.
Property owners in Chile.
It's,
Yeah, we mail it there.
you mailed it to Tilly.
Oh,
So, you're back here fixing a mistake that you made last couple of years ago that you tried to fix in February, and
but here's,
now you're back here trying to fix it
but
again.
here's
because you
my
wouldn't-
argument. I mean, I do these jobs all over the state of Florida. I've got a partner in Central Florida. We have never been fined for an expired permit on a job. They'll normally.
Well, welcome to your first.
I know, but I mean,
You slipped through the
that's-
cracks, and now you're going to blame me for that?
No, I'm not blaming you at
Well,
all.
then-
It's just the system. Here's my problem is if I knew about it, I would have gotten that thing done immediately. It fell through the cracks.
You're not the owner of the property. The
No, but
owner
I
of
know,
the
I'm-
property got this done. You came back and you reduced it. And you got me to reduce it a few $100s. I probably shouldn't have done it that at all, because they usually want twice the fine amount, which would be $3,000, which is more than the $1,800 fine.
But do
And
you
I
think-
reduced it down
But how do you justify that for an AC change out that was done with a permit?
because somebody forgot to finish their job.
Okay, sir, but.
So you're
Let me
the
ask you a
one
question.
who's in
My
fault.
job was finished. My job was completed.
Your job was to finish the air conditioning and get the permit closed.
Okay, it was.
Your job was not to finish the air conditioning and ignore the final inspection.
I did not, I promise you I did not ignore it. I'm just asking for a break because I'm the one that's going to have to pay.
I gave you the break in February and you
then-
just ignored that, so you're
No,
not
I
getting a
didn't.
break now. They look at me and they smile and they go, December, that's when you come before Doug and he gives you your breaks.
Yes, but
And now you're poisoning it for everybody else here because you already came in January or in February and I
I know,
knocked
but I
off
would
my.
have, but I didn't know you reduced that. That's why I said I was looking at the records. Where do I go to pay it? I walked in here to ask them and the girl
The
told me.
property owner is the person you work for. They're the ones you should be talking to, not Sharon
But
Bach
they don't
at court or at the
I don't
clerk of
even
the
know,
court.
I deal with a realtor. They don't,
Reductions denied.
well, Thank you.
You had your reduction in February and
No,
you
but,
ignored
sir,
it, so
I didn't
there,
know,
you're
I didn't know
denied.
this. I don't know how your system works here. I do this, and I've been in so many cities doing these jobs.
You've been
in the
in
city
so
of
many
Wellington.
cities where they get inspections and they get finals, and you did not do that. It's your fault. Fix it. Thank you.
For $1,800.
Exactly.
That's
your
absolutely
fault.
exorbitant, though. That's ridiculous.
It's fine.
Special Magistrate, if we could take a quick break, just very quickly. Is he good? We're next.
Okay.
That one.
I'll take a minute.
I thought
Just
all
a
these
brief-
other people were here, no?
Huh? I thought all these other people were here. He's next on my agenda.
Okay.
Oh, 423 West Thomas isn't here?
No, he's next. Okay, he's fine.
All right. Break's over.
Yes, break's over. Staying on the bottom of page 8, it's a confidential record case. It's case 14-1107, confidential record, Stefanos and Melissa A. Zertzeropoulos.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Okay. Exhibit 1, letter requesting fine mitigation verification. Exhibit 2, previous order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, affidavit of compliance. Exhibit 4, verification ownership.
Okay. Okay. Please proceed.
Can you say your name for the record, sir?
Thank you. Good. My name is Sean Selk. I'm an attorney here in Palm Beach County. I'm representing the homeowners in this particular case.
Sean, how to spell your last name, please?
S-E-L-K, and the first
Okay.
name is spelled the proper way, like James Bond, S-E-A-N.
I made you a Shaw.
It's been spelled 100 different ways.
All right, so we have 4 years worth of fines here. How much
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, sir, the fine amount is $37,200, and the village's costs are $6,219.62.
All right. Why should it be reduced?
Thank you, Your Honor, for Special Magistrate for being here. First, I wanted to say it's going to be a tough act to follow. But I also wanted to say that the homeowners are not here because they don't want to be here. They're here for safety reasons and the confidentiality of their records and the sensitivity of their jobs. It's not a position for them to be here for that as a law enforcement agent. This case, we're here, Your Honor, asking for a complete reduction and a waiver of the fine. This is a sort of a calamity of some errors and perhaps ignorance by the homeowner. I'm not here today to question anything that's in the record with regard to the notices that were sent or the way that they were sent. I have spoken with the homeowner on several occasions about this. I've worked for this family for several years on issues, and I know them to be people who take care of their business when they are aware of what their business is. There was a fence permit that was pulled at one point. It was labeled as a fence permit. And when the homeowner went in to do that fence permit, discussed that it was more than a fence that he was installing. He would be putting in a shed as well. He was asked to put on the permit application at that time that fence permit where the shed was going to be and draw it and mark it on that application permit. And he did so. And he was under what has now been made clear to him through me and obviously through this pretty large hefty fine that wasn't the case, that was a fence permit only and that they simply asked him to identify where the shed would go relative to this fence and that a separate shed permit would need to be pulled. Found that out later. He found that out with a door hanger that was put there. He came in, it said, please come in to talk to us about it. He did. And they suggested that he pull a shed permit, that he was under a mistaken belief that his shed was permitted. So he did pull the shed permit at that time, and he was advised, according to him and his conversations with me, he was advised that there were different ways that this could be dealt with and that perhaps it could become a conforming structure through certain avenues, talk to your neighbors, hedges grow up tall enough, have it hurricane strapped, these other things, which had already been done. And he was advised at that time that he would be getting more things in the mail that would tell him further what to do relative to the issue. I've looked at the record since then, the record that was submitted to him when he came down recently. He found out about this, let me backtrack a little bit. He found out about these fines within the last month or so. He found out about them when he was going to get a loan with the credit union, credit line on his property to fix some construction defect issues that we're dealing with simultaneously now with relative to the pool. The loan was denied because we found out there was this lien outstanding. First phone call after the shock set in was to me, I believe, and we discussed the options. I sent him down to code enforcement to determine what exactly he needs to do to come into compliance first. How do we get this resolved first, then deal with the issue of the fines? And the decision was made by him at that point was to have the shed completely removed, and I guess the permit closed out. So he hired a contractor to come in with a crane, remove the shed, and donated the shed to charity. I called code enforcement on. I think code enforcement can confirm that the shed is removed at this time, and he's in compliance at this time. And he did that as quickly as he could. I've known this particular client for several years. For at least 8 years, I've done various work for he and his family. If his statement to me is that, despite what the record says, and we're not arguing that the record is wrong. What we're arguing is that he's suggesting what he was waiting for was for more mailings to come to tell him what to do, and he never received those. And that's why 4 years have gone by regarding this particular issue. His address, the address, which I don't want to put on the record at this point, and it is confidential, within 7 or 8 homes, there's a similar address. It's just simply Court versus Avenue. And as recent as this week, he's had mail misdelivered to that address and vice versa. They're always exchanging Christmas gifts with each other that were delivered to the wrong address. I think to some extent that may have happened, but he's adamant, and if he were here as a law enforcement officer, he would say the same thing to you personally, no knowledge of this. And when he found out that this was the case, he called me up, retained me to come and help him with what we could do, and come to this court and beg for this court to give him a reduction, a waiver if possible, a complete fee reduction if possible, or a significant waiver if not. $36,000 or the chain or wherever it is a significant amount of money for a man of his means, and quite frankly isn't going to be something that's going to be very easily paid, nor would the fine relative to whatever the city's fees are, or the administrative fees. It would be a significant burden that would not be easily rectified by him anytime soon. So we're asking for some leniency here. I don't think I think that the code enforcement would agree that he is not the type of person that would be doing this intentionally. It was never intended to be a shed that was installed without the city's knowledge. He'd put it on all the permits that he could. It wasn't something he was trying to deprive the city of revenue or knowledge of, the village of. It just simply is something that he was ignorant of what the process was at the time. And his suggestion to me is that neither he nor his wife had received supplemental instructions on what to do and where to be.
All right.
I guess with all due respect, sir, I understand your arguments. However, you are, to some degree, asking to relitigate whether service and notice was proper at the prior hearings.
I don't want to relitigate those issues at all. When that is something that he made very clear to me, we are not contesting what the record suggests. I do know that those green cards weren't signed and were returned, unable to forward or something like that. I don't know why that would have happened. Those are the only things that I can look at and suggest maybe there was a problem with those particular cards, but I'm not here to suggest that those things didn't happen, nor would my client ask me to come in here and say that there's either a mistake or a misrepresentation in those records. I'm simply suggesting he doesn't know where that breakdown is and that he didn't have them, or he didn't get them. What I can tell you he told me he did is across the street from him is a former retired sergeant who has security cameras all over his home. When we found out about this, he went to his neighbor and he said, "Do you have any tape? How long do your tapes go back?" They looked as far back as they could in the tapes to see whether things posted on his door that he's missed, and quite frankly, he couldn't find anything. He's not here, and I'm not here to suggest that your record is wrong, and I don't want to put across that I'm litigating that. I'm simply suggesting that he didn't have them. He doesn't have them, he didn't see them, and that's the position that he's in.
Right.
Understood. Yeah, and the perpetual quandary is that the village is required by law to send things to a specific place. We can't control beyond that, who gets them, who doesn't get them. Unfortunately, in this case, the village is amenable to reduction, but we would ask for our standard 2 times the village's costs.
Here's the deal normally. Homeowner buys a home.
Yep.
There's a shed. Prior owner put it in, never permitted. They're stuck with the problem.
Absolutely.
Then I look at them sympathetically going, how many people actually look up the permits on the house they're buying? Me.
None.
Me. My former partner does too.
A few
Okay.
people, a few people.
Okay, we're lawyers, you know? We look at all these disasters that are gonna happen. I looked at everything. It's like,
That's
is
right.
it permitted? Do we have accessories here that are permitted? Is the fence permit? Simple little things you can look up.
We hope for the best
Never
and
did.
plan for the worst. I
That
agree.
is the norm. In this case, your client got permit 12-0889 for a shed.
Indeed.
He had the opportunity to put his shed in, which he did. He had the opportunity to have the shed inspected, like he should have. And then nothing happened, so in 2014, I signed an order, right,
Yes, sir.
that said, hey,
Yes,
you really need to take care of this shed thing.
yes.
You know, you need to come in for an inspection and be done. And
there's-
for 4 years, we get crickets.
And I don't dispute any of that, and
So-
neither does he. His
So,
suggestion is
you
that
know,
those
it's-
orders weren't
it's
received.
pure, self-inflicted, shoot yourself in the foot malfeasance on behalf of your client. And now you're trying to tell me, okay, well, I should give him a break. And I normally like to give people breaks, and this is the time of year I like to give people breaks. This is normally the time they look at me and go, really? And they want $12,000 out of your client, and I'm telling you, your client was very remiss in not getting this done. I mean, you go pull a permit, you go get your TED shed, you slap it on your slab, and then you go, I'll ignore this thing forever. So I am not going to go below the village's costs of $6,219.62. I will have that paid in 90 days. They usually give me a date.
3/12/18.
By
19, I'm sorry.
3/12/19,
6,000.
$219.62. By 3/12/19, or it goes back to the $37,000 it was before, because as I said before, totally self-inflicted.
Could, I understand, I understand.
And it's gonna.
It's impossible to extend that longer than past 3/12. Can we move it, can we give another 3 months in order
Why? Why?
to find $6,219, to be quite honest? The intention is to pay this, the
Well, you know,
determination is how.
the intention of the other guy was to pay too, but he never did. You know, why do I need to extend this? I mean, you've got employed people, right?
Sure.
I mean, he's a law enforcement officer of some type, correct?
Correct.
So I've reduced a $37,000 fine by a factor of 6.
Understood.
And now he wants more time? He's going to get the same amount of time as everybody else, which is usually 90 days.
Okay.
And if he can't get the 90-day period going, he's going to go back to the $37,000.
Okay.
Because this is how everyone is treated, equally. And normally I do double. So 6219, by 3/12/19. I'll sign that order.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next.
The order will be mailed to the homeowner?
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Pursuant to state law.
Top of page 9, case 16-1755, 10069 Patience Lane, Natwana R. Fuller.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, letter requesting fine mitigation confirmation. Exhibit 2, previous order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, affidavit of compliance. Exhibit 4, verification ownership.
Okay, that's only 2 years of fines. All right. Please proceed.
Your name for the record, ma'am?
Natwana Fuller.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Special Magistrate, the fine amount in this case is $16,700. And the
Costs?
village's costs are $3,521.81.
Why should the fines be reduced?
I just can't afford that amount. So I was trying to see, I didn't know that I had to find, I fixed the problem, but I didn't know I had to report it or call the code enforcement to let them know it was repaired. So I thought it was fixed and it was okay. Until I came to the office and they told me I had a lien on my property because of it, because I came to do a fence permit. That's how I found out. Other than that, I would have never knew.
My problem in these cases is, you know, there's a certain amount of costs that go into prosecuting this, and they don't even include me. I'm not even allowed to be taxed against you. When did you fix the problem?
I fixed it like within less than 30 days after they put the door thing on my door, but I didn't know I had to call to have someone come out and look at it. So that was my mistake.
Is there any way you can prove that? Is there any pictures you have of your house in 2016?
No, because it's like on the side of my house, so I don't take pictures or anything on the side over there.
Is there anything you have for receipts? I'm just trying to think of any way that I can help you take this down.
No, I told the same thing with the lady. I don't have any receipts or anything because it was
'Cause
just
you
a
had to
piece of a
fix
small
these
board, just a little rotted piece of wood on the side of my house. So it's something that cost me $30 to fix. It was just a small piece of wood on the side of the house.
Yeah, but when
To
you
the top.
called for inspection, you had to still paint the area because.
Yeah, that's
it
the only
wa-
thing, it wasn't
so
painted.
it wasn't finished until
But I didn't-
Ron,
recent.
yeah, well,
No, it's been fixed. I just never painted. It just was up there.
cable ends and disrepair, rod and broken wood, that kind of was the problem. Painting was almost another issue.
But
Not
it's
done
been
till it's
fixed.
done.
All right, what can you afford to do?
I can't afford $3,500.
What can you afford to do?
At least $1,000. I'm a single parent of a college student, and it's just me.
See, they're gonna get mad at me too. So
Oh, thank
$1,000
you.
by 3/12/19. And I'm relying on your testimony that you fixed it, you just didn't tell them, so. I'm
Yes, I
giving you
promise you I
credit.
did.
I'm giving you credit for that,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
okay? I'll
Thank
sign
you.
that order.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Next.
18-0835-1366 Elm Bank Way, Krishandat and Shaniza Singh.
I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, letter requesting fine mitigation and confirmation. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, affidavit of compliance. Exhibit 4, verification ownership.
The good news about this one is it can't be that big. Okay. What is the amount of the fine?
The fine amount is $1,325,
Your costs?
or they exceeded, they're $1,530.69. Names for the record, please.
Christian Singh.
Shaniza Singh.
Thank you.
Okay, why should the fine be reduced?
I'm not saying that what happened didn't happen. It happened. It was just a miscommunication by me and there was another lady that was doing my property.
Right.
And I think she was on disability. She went on disability or something. And I called her, you know, well, I was following up with my case almost every 2 weeks or whatever. And I finished what I had to do, but I still didn't finish getting my driveway and the fence put up. So I had the permit, but I didn't think I had to call to get everything else inspected that was, you know, done. And I waited, and I got a notice that I had a hearing. She had told me that she would have got me more time, but never heard, you know, she said I didn't have to come in for no hearing. So I just left it and just started working on my driveway.
Okay. What's your response? Has he been good, bad, indifferent?
It's Dean's case.
In his case?
I don't think I've had a problem with
You
it.
don't really have a problem with it?
I don't think so, no. You're the ones who just recently got the new driveway, right? You
Yeah.
have the trailer on the side
Yeah.
of the house. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all right.
400 by 3/12/19.
Was that?
$400 by 3/12/19 and your fine will go away.
Appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
Next.
Are we gonna get something in the mail?
Yes, of course you will. I love finding stuff. I signed my name 75 times.
It'll be next week.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
18-1099-10670 Bobby Lane, Lenwell C. Pratt, and Kimberly Williams.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, letter requesting fine mitigation confirmation. Exhibit 2, previous order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Well, I bet it's about the same amount, too.
The fine total in this case is $600.
Oh, wow. That's going to be horrible. Okay, and your costs are well beyond that, I know.
Yeah, we didn't calculate.
All right, why should I reduce it?
First name for the record, please.
First.
Brenda Pratt.
Brenda?
Yes, sir.
Who are you to the property? Because I see a Lenwell.
I'm sorry?
What is your relationship to the
Oh,
property?
he's my husband.
Okay.
Miss Kimberly is deceased.
Okay. Okay, what was your first name again?
Brenda.
Brenda, good. All right, Brenda wife. All right. And why should this fine be reduced?
I actually were trying, well, I wasn't trying, I was complying. And according to a few of the workers here, I guess it was submitted when I was, because I pulled the permit, but then they couldn't close the permit because there were some other issues going on. So they helped me with the paperwork, and we had to get owner builders to close, to have some guys come out and close the rest of the stuff that they had was prior to me. I don't know. So anyhow, we do have the permit, and I guess the fine was submitted, the paperwork was submitted before, and that's why we received it in the mail.
Tell me, what's your
Long
side?
story, yeah. They did a fence and a canopy. They did apply for the permit, but there was other permit issues, and they could not
Get that permit
get this permit issued without getting the other
Those other permit
permits
issues
taken care of.
fixed, and they got the other things fixed so they could get this permit, so they finally fixed it.
Yeah,
So it was a big, long cluster thing,
it was.
$100 by 312.
Not a problem.
I didn't think so.
Thank you.
16-23543 Greenway Village North, number 105, Jamie and Jennifer Rivera.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, the order assessing fine. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And Exhibit 4, the affidavit of compliance.
Okay. Well, it's a year older, so it'll be a little bit higher. Okay. Fine amounts, cost amounts.
The fine amount is $15,200, and the village's costs are $3,418.19.
All for a simple permit. Okay. Please tell us why the fine, well, we have anything else?
Name for the record, please.
Name for the record, please.
Jennifer Rivera.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Rivera. What happened?
Well, this is, as you probably already know, it's a 55 and older property. I purchased it for my father-in-law and my mother-in-law. We moved them down here from Philadelphia. She's battling cancer. We purchased this in July of 2016, and now that after all this documentation came in, we know that there was a open permit on the property for the AC unit from the previous owner. It wasn't done by us. For some reason, in our closing documents with the title insurance, it wasn't picked up at that time that there was an open permit. I do have an email here when I was notified of the open permit from 2016 of the then inspector. I spoke with the supervisor, he was a temporary inspector here. I had communicated, as soon as I found out about this, I immediately came to Royal Palm and they gave me the information for the AC company that had opened the permit. I contacted them the same day. He sent me all the email of what to do to close the permit out, sent me the pictures, and where I failed is I assumed that when we scheduled it with Joey that it was taken care of and it was done, but it wasn't the case. I know that there was mail going to my father-in-law's house, which it's mine. He's the one that's living there. There's a little bit of a language barrier, and I'm assuming that he was thinking that it wasn't for him because he didn't do the permit, and it was just kind of just tabled by him.
Okay. So it was not your permit, someone else had to do it, and they just never closed it out?
Correct, but as soon as I found out, we're closing on another house, and I found out, as soon as I found out, I spent the day, and the ladies in the office were very helpful with me and in taking the steps that I needed to be done, and it got done the next day.
And it was actually scheduled for an inspection do you have emails?
Yeah.
Could you grab the emails, please? Love proof.
Can we keep these copies, or do you need these copies?
Yeah, I have it in email. You can keep it, yeah. That email is from the AC company, not from the inspector.
Okay, I'm just trying to see if they talked to him or said they talked to him or whatever they did.
I believe that's a copy of the original permit, because I think it had to get renewed or something in 2016.
If I may, it looked
Sure.
like from what I saw in what you had showed me in the office, that she contacted the AC company. The AC company maybe called the office regarding it, but I think that the permit was already expired. But they called to find out who the inspector and everything would be, and then sent her an email like, the inspector's Joey, we have it set up, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So she's sort of caught in the middle of all this.
Yes, and on top of that, they're not even the owner that pulled the permit.
Right, that was the prior owner.
So-
Okay.
But you should have it where he talks about, it makes it sound like he called the village because he knew who the
Yeah, of
inspector was.
course, he's trying to keep
and-
himself out of trouble.
Right.
But the only person that ended up in trouble was this one. Cool. $500?
Yes.
I'm sorry. What did you
Okay.
say?
She said, okay.
But what did you say?
Yes.
I said $500 by 3/12/19. And then you go clear it all out and hopefully you won't have to run into these
Am I
issues.
able to pay that tomorrow?
Not till he signs the order.
I
which will be
usually
next
don't
week.
sign the orders till Monday. It's sort of like the traditional. They have like 75 of these to do. They have to have them reviewed. But I usually come in Monday morning, sometime before lunch, and sign them. So if you check with them Monday afternoon, you may be able to clear this out.
If you have something with a closing, we can talk to your title company and get something to them.
Perfect, so I can come see you tomorrow?
Yeah.
And tell them that they had a hearing and the magistrate said this and you're going to do that.
It'll have to be tomorrow morning.
Okay,
I'm tied up
7:30?
tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
I'll be here early.
Okay.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Next.
16-105. 16-10.
55.
55-1101 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, LLC.
A couple of you.
Hello,
I'd like
how
to
are you?
enter the following documents into evidence. The request for fine mitigation, Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is the order assessing fine. Exhibit 3 is the verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
All right. Please proceed.
Can you state your names for the record, please?
My name is Linda Griffiths, and I'm here representing the owner of the property.
Good afternoon. My name is Danella Williams, Danella Williams, representing Holiday CVS on behalf of Gray Robinson, PA.
Wow. The Gray Robinson, usually people represent my side here. All right.
And Ms. Griffiths, are you counsel
Of
to your
course.
client, I presume?
Come on, Gray Robinson, what do you expect?
No, the first Ms. Griffiths?
She is not
No,
my,
she's the owner
my
rep.
counsel, no. She's, and she's.
Believe me.
Oh,
We're attorneys,
I'm-
we tell you.
I'm the landlord.
You're the landlord,
I'm
that's
the-
what I was
I'm the
trying to
landlord.
get your
I'm sorry,
affiliation,
yeah,
thank you.
representing the owner of the property.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Let me give him the fine amounts and then go ahead. The fine amounts in this case are $20,825, and the village's costs are $3,954.81.
All right. The big question, why?
I wanted to go through all of the notifications that we've done to notify our tenant, which is Daniel G. Kamen, 15 owners, and their subtenant, Holiday CVS, of the violations that we received. So as soon as we received the notice of violation, which was in May 2016, we sent out notices to both the tenant and the sub that there was a violation and there was work needed to be done to cure that violation.
You want to introduce those into evidence? Please, counsel.
I'll be happy to email them to Linda. So it wasn't until September of 2016 that I was notified by Ms. Walker that the violation had not been cured. Some of them the staining had been cleaned, I think the sidewalk had been cleaned, but the vegetation was not up to they didn't cure the vegetation violation. So it was at that point that I started emailing CVS directly, notifying them that they had not cured the violation. I was in communication with their lease administration and also with their facilities director stating this is a violation, this needs to be cured. Okay, this is the date we're going to cure it. This is the day we're going to cure the staining. This is the date we're going to cure the landscaping. That was in September of 2016. At that point, I had assumed it had been done. It wasn't until August of 2018 that when we received the notice of foreclosure authorization hearing, that we were made aware that the violations had not been cured. So at that point, we got our attorney involved, who is Mombeck Boyle, Hardin, and Simmons, who's down in Fort Lauderdale. It's all of these.
100,000 attorneys in Florida.
Well, let me tell you.
We don't know anyone anymore.
All of our default notices back and forth to our attorneys. So that was when we got our attorney involved. We reached out to tell them that they needed to cure these violations. So at that point, CVS's landscaper, which was Buccaneer Landscaping, applied for the permit. Unfortunately, 2 weeks later, we found out it had been rejected. They did not fill it out completely. So at that point, we as the owner of the property, I as the landlord, I stepped in, said I'm not going to wait for the landscaping company to do it correctly. I'm going to step in. We applied for the permit with the help of Ms. Walker, 16 violations that we had to cure. As soon as we got our permit, within a few days, we had our landscaper out there. We cured all of the violations. We called for an inspection. And so we're requesting a fine reduction because we did everything that we were required to do per our lease.
Now, pursuant to the lease, is the tenant and the subtenant responsible for these types of charges?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, so you've thrown her under the bus. Time for the person under the bus to say something.
Hello, I'm coming from under the bus. CVS did attempt to cure these violations, and the initial violation was, I believe, May the 16th of 2016 4 days after it received that initial violation, CVS has an invoice for nearly $1,400 to do power washing on the outside for the staining situation. And then under a month after that, we have the invoices for work, almost $4,000 worth of work done to clear the dead trees and shrubbery that was mentioned in the violation as well. So CVS was intentionally trying to cure the violations, and just so happened that the landscapers that they hired, apparently they didn't have, they applied for the permits, didn't get the permits, et cetera, and CVS had agreed to reimburse the landlord for the landscaping work that was done by her company.
Okay, village,
Well, I mean,
twice normal.
the
twice
only
the
thing
cost
that I
normally.
will say is that there was a dead palm tree in specific that stood there for,
Years.
yeah, almost 2 years. So
Between
CVS may have at
this-
the end, after Linda got involved and was re-involved, I should say, CVS maybe then tried to correct it, but prior to, I don't know really how much they really did.
Tried to correct the
The vegetation.
The palm tree?
Yeah.
The staining was done,
Yeah.
but the actual vegetation, Linda really stepped in and ended up getting it all done.
Okay, I do have an invoice for nearly $4,000 of work that was done to the vegetation, and on the invoice, and I'm sorry I don't have it physically here, but I do have it via email. It was emailed to me kind of on my way down here. I'm from Fort Lauderdale as well. Go figure.
Here's your problem.
Yeah.
I live here. I drive by that CVS in order to get here. I use that CVS. I stared at that dead palm tree for years. I mean, you've got like a half a dozen palm trees out front. It's your signature piece out there, and the one just stayed dead forever, and it just, we don't care. It was like, here's a thumb in your eye, and don't bother. It stayed there. And
I wouldn't say paying $5,500 worth of.
that $5,500 would probably cover the cost of that tree.
Yeah.
And the removal of that tree, because this is a probably 25-foot trunk. I mean, they were all matching. They were all very nice. And then one died, and no one did anything forever. And then people got notices, and they sent people notices who sent your people notices. The villages, you want your double costs?
Yeah, we'd be asking for 2 times our costs. Unfortunately, we understand their positions, but this did remain out of compliance for nearly 2 years. Compliance was only achieved on November 9th of this year, so.
All right, who's going to do my math? Because
2
I
times
look
is-
at this, I'd go, it's 3954 of, that's 4,000 is $8,000, but
It's
we'll make it 7,000.
7909.62.
7909.62 by 312, 19. Got to take care of your properties.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good one.
You too.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yep, next.
Hold on. 18-1454-12031 Southern Boulevard, Red Apple at Palms West LLC.
By 3.
Give us 1 second, Special Magistrate.
Sure, take your time.
I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, fine mitigation request. Exhibit 2, order assessing fine. And Exhibit 3, verification of ownership. And I did have an affidavit of compliance, but I don't know what happened to it.
I'll take your word that it's complied, otherwise I wouldn't
Yeah.
be here.
It complied on September 27th, 2018. Did you give that back to me today?
Did you put it in the bin?
No, I had you sign it there.
Okay, well, this shouldn't be that much if it's September 17th, 18.
September 27th.
Because you told me you weren't
That
know.
was CVS.
Yeah, everyone likes the
Right.
bus.
Oh.
This is September 18th, order, right?
Right, they complied very shortly after.
So it's gonna be a very small amount that they're gonna try to do it. It's probably more than your cost.
It was a repeat violation,
Right,
so
so-
no, it's not a very
So the
small
fine
amount.
amount is $6,900,
Ah, 6,900.
and the village's costs are 1470.10.
14 what?
70.
1470.10. All right, who do we have on the Red Apple side here?
Greg Tallman.
Scott Newton.
I'm sorry, Greg, can you spell your last
Tallman.
name?
Tallman.
Thank
And
you.
your position is title?
Facility supervisor.
Okay.
And the other gentleman, can you repeat?
Sure. My name is Scott Newton. I'm with United States Property Maintenance.
Scott, how do you spell your last name?
Newton.
Just like the city in Mass, okay. All right, so we have a $6,900 fine and a $1,470 in costs, and why should the fine be reduced?
We resolved all the issues. We've increased our landscaping visits to 3 times per month. We've installed new no trespassing signs that seems to be helping with the trash issue up front. And we've also got increased daily trash pickup with our own staff 3 times a day to try to resolve the issue.
Okay. What is the village's position?
We would be asking for 2 times the village's costs, and that amount would be $2,940.20.
294020?
Yes, sir.
I'll reduce it to 2940.20 by 31219. It's a lot better than 6,900.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care, happy holidays. Next. It's like fine
18
assessment day or fine reduction day.
18-0533-10233 Okeechobee Boulevard, B-11, Cobblestone Village at Royal Palm Beach, Top Taste Restaurant, Inc.
Okay, top taste people.
And before we get started, Special Magistrate, this was placed on the agenda because there was a request made, but the village is objecting to reconsideration, rehearing on this matter.
I ruled on it.
Correct, back
and
in September of this year, 2018, denying their fine mitigation. I have a copy of the order here.
I remember doing it.
But essentially, they're asking for a second bite at the apple, and we strongly object to that. It's not proper under the law.
Why should you even come back in and ask again?
Because first, I want to thank you for the opportunity, but I never got to explain my situation when I was
You
here.
explained your situation, I recall it.
When I came and I explained everything that happened to Linda, she assisted me, and then in coming to the court. But then I was so upset with my husband because of what Linda told me, that she went to talk to him, and he never told me, so we weren't on speaking terms. So he had brought the attorney, being as we were talking, we had to hire him because the landlord had evicted us.
Okay, well, I remember the attorney too.
Yeah.
He was arguing all kinds of legal
Yes, sir.
excuses which were not relevant. And that
Right.
was rejected, and then you came in with your pitch. I mean, I had to come sit here in front of a whole pile of police officers who testified as to, special events and fish fries and marijuana consumption, the hundreds of people in the parking lot.
And
And we all did this whole dance before, and you're back here again, and, I appreciate it, but I really don't hear anything new that would change my mind.
But the time when the police and everybody was here, I wasn't able to attend, or I wasn't aware of it being in my situation, being in
But
the
I don't think you
hospital.
could have changed any of their testimony. I had like 3 different officers testify,
Special
2
Magistrate,
gentlemen and a female officer.
But I didn't know the severity of it to know that what he was doing was wrong until when I had the baby.
Well-
And I went through the mail and I found out we were being evicted. And then I found out we should have been down here at the court in
Well, he
regards-
was down here. There were people down here. The problem.
She was here also at the fine reduction
No,
hearing.
She was here at the fine reduction hearing. I remember her. I remember the attorney who was at the other hearing too.
Correct.
I mean, it all,
But I wasn't at the previous hearing.
It doesn't matter whether you're there or not, and it would have been nicer if you were, because you may have talked some sense into him, but what happened was what happened, and, it created a big problem with the village, it created a large problem with PBSO.
I understand.
And what, I fined him $15,000, I believe?
Correct.
because of irreparable harm, and there was nothing, there was not a allowed use there that he created, and he just sort of went through it, and it was on multiple occasions.
Correct. 3
So
occasions.
I'm going to continue to not allow a reduction.
Yeah, the issue, Special Magistrate, is that the appellate rights in this, under your previous order, have come and gone. So we would ask that no ruling happen tonight.
Oh.
This is not reconsidered.
This is not reconsidered, this is just a conversation that you had a chance to appeal it after the last meeting, and that wasn't done. So you're out of this one. I mean, you really need to find another location or deal with something else.
We have found another location.
I know, I'll keep waiting for you to open. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No ruling is what I'm gonna put.
And then if we give us a moment, there are more people in the room. I need to figure out who they are.
Huh? Okay, we've got some strays.
Sorry.
I thought I asked if everyone signed in before. I guess.
All 4 of them came in late.
Oh, all right, well, I have to re-swear them, I take it,
Yes.
if we can figure out where they are.
He's here? We know where they
Okay.
You can swear them all in now while we're doing this, Special Magistrate.
You want to swear them in?
All right, everyone who's still here is gonna talk. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Say, I do. They all do. Okay. Who do we have and where do we have them? Pages and...
Page 1, we're starting.
Ah, 1. Okay.
We're starting, this is a fine assessment hearing, case 18-734, 150 Valencia Street, Gary L. and Susan G. Pickett.
Okay.
Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, the order granting continuance, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
It was there. It's there.
Okay. All right. You have service by posting to proceed.
No objection to those.
And your name for the record, sir?
Gary Pickett.
All right. So, fine assessment hearing, driveway and disrepair. I think I gave you an extra month or 3 last time.
Yes, and I need about 2 more weeks, and I should be finished.
Actually, it's going to take longer than that because you have to get a permit for it. Your wife came in the office and the inspector talked to her.
Yes, she did, but apparently there was one thing missing to
Yeah,
get
but
the
it's
permit.
going to take
It's going to
probably
take them
3
probably
weeks
a week
more
or
for a
3 to
permit.
get the permit issued. That's the
At
problem,
this point, it's going to be at least 3 to 4, if not longer.
because of the holidays.
3 to 4 weeks to get a
Yeah,
permit?
this is not, you plug your money in and you pull the thing and the cigarettes
No,
come
no,
out of
I-
the machine. They don't do that anymore. But that's what, these things require time for permitting, and you had plenty of time to, see, if you would have begun the permitting process and gotten the permit, you would be out of code enforcement, is probably what I told you last time.
Yeah, we discussed that at the last hearing.
And you didn't get the permit, and you waited till the last minute to get the permit, and now it's gonna take you weeks to get the permit while you're being fined.
And what's the fine every day?
25?
Correct.
$25 a day.
Yep, and it's just a matter of procrastination. If my
So
daughters
if
were
I-
watching this, I'd be like, see? So what are we talking about for a fine here?
It's been out of compliance for 7 days, so we'd be asking for a $175 fine and continuing until compliance is achieved.
And I gave you time, and the time was not used wisely.
Well, that's not exactly the case, but I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute whether or not my time was used wisely.
Okay,
But
well,
I understand where you're coming from, and I understand the position of.
Yeah,
of
I mean, if you would have
Walpole.
applied for the driveway permit within weeks after this hearing, the original hearing,
Mhm.
you would have had your permit issued and you would have had 6 months to fix it, and there would be no question of giving you an additional 2 weeks. It would have been a building department thing, and they wouldn't have kicked it back until, it was not closed out a year from now.
Okay.
So what you need to do is go see if you can sweet talk the people into helping you get the permit through, but that's about all. Because right now, she applied when?
She hasn't applied.
She hasn't applied? They're missing
No,
something?
because when she went there to apply, I guess I wasn't there. I work, so I can't take off to go do that because of my obligations. But when she went there, apparently they couldn't issue the permit because there's an ambiguity about whether or not part of it has to be taken up or not. If I could just show you.
Sure. You need to show her first, and then I'll look at it.
Oh, okay.
That's just the process.
This is the entire.
Right, I know you.
The house, and so about a third of it has to be cut up. She went to get the permit, and then there was I don't know, I guess you were there when you were there. But there's an issue about whether this has to be removed, and whether that has to be cut up right there.
Okay, so we're talking about
And then I
a
got
wedge sort of area at the street where you're trying to do some work. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's 11 feet by 6.
Yeah, but
That has 11 by 7 that has to be cut up and removed, and then I guess repoured.
Yeah.
So, I have a company now that's going to do it.
Yeah, and you're actually not going to be in compliance until the work is done. Just getting a permit isn't going to put you in compliance at this point.
I see.
Because it was supposed to be done before the deadline was over.
Yeah. This has been going on since April.
Well,
So there's nothing I can do at this point.
there's nothing you can do at this point until you get the permit and get the work done. So just keep on them about the permit and see if you can, you might find reductions at a later date. You may want to try to explain it to cut it down on the amount, but
So
at this particular time, there's really nothing I could do. I granted
Nope.
additional time.
Correct. We've tried to work with him. He's
And
appeared every time, and it's just
I
going back
granted
so
additional
long.
time. It was not successful, and we just moved on to the second phase, which is the $175 plus continuing. And hopefully this will be resolved in a fairly expeditious manner, and the fine will be small. And then you can explain why you should have that reduced at all if you want to try that avenue.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that's gonna.
I'm not prejudging anything. It would be horrible for me to do that, so.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
175 plus continuing is granted. Okay. Next,
We are now moving to page 2. We're staying in the fine assessment hearings, case 18-1624122 Spanish Pine Terrace, Ricard R. Evans.
I'd like to enter into evidence the order of finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
okay. You have affidavit of posting, you have service, you can proceed.
Yeah, it's Ricard R. Evans.
Thank you. These are the exhibits the village would like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1 is affidavit of service for the order finding violation. This is the order finding violation. Page 2. Exhibit 2 is proof of ownership from the property appraiser website. And Exhibit 3 is photographs of the violation.
And this is the violation. That's why I'm confused. That's why I came here. I'm confused as to what the violation is.
Officer, can you come over here for 1 second and explain the pictures to him? Sir McLean. He's asking in this first photo, what is the violation?
Okay, this vegetation is growing onto the gutter curb. That has to be.
Yeah, but I cut that every
cut.
week.
This was,
I
this
know.
was taken yesterday.
Excuse me, sir, but if
Yesterday.
you want her to explain this, you're gonna let her explain it, then you get
Then
to
we'll get your
respond?
list.
All right, okay.
And these don't have 7 feet of clearance over the roadway. And this is actually growing onto the pedestrian sidewalk. And this is an area in the backyard where you're not mowing at all.
That's ferns I'm letting grow there.
There's also a patch of grass back there that has been mowed previously, but it's not being mowed at all now.
Well, the whole thing is I've been out of town a lot this year, and so maybe
Hold on for
I've
me 1
missed-
second. Let's get the documents in the record. Go ahead if we have one more thing about the documents, and then we'll get to the testimony.
Do you have your vegetation, your right-of-way permit?
Yeah.
At home? Because I think you're supposed to maintain this so many feet off the curb anyways.
Yeah, but
Check
what I
that.
have, but I'm saying that stuff grows like
I
wildfire.
know
I
it
cut it
does.
one
It's
week
gonna
and it's
be-
back out the next
It is
week.
gonna be constant,
And
but.
I cut it with that weed whacker going this way.
Right, but that's what I'm saying to you
Yeah.
though, is I think it's not gonna be good enough if you cut here. I think you're supposed to be so many feet off the curb. Just
Go
double check
back
it.
further?
Yeah.
Okay,
just
well, that's
double
what I'm
check
trying to clear up, because I
Yeah.
don't know. Because I only planted it in the middle, and it grew by
It
itself.
does, it
Yeah,
multiplies.
yeah,
So
so
you
it's
may
got
have to
beyond me.
actually take some of
Take
that
some of it
out.
out? Okay.
Do you have any objection to these documents?
No.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, admitted without objection. Okay. So you have vegetation growing over the sidewalks, we have vegetation extending out in the streets, you don't have clearance on the streets or the sidewalks at 7 feet.
Correct. And there's a
And
patch of grass in the
there's a patch of
back.
grass in the back that needs to be maintained. Mr. Evans, your response?
Well, I mean, I could remove that grass back from the curb, I guess.
You have to, or you're
Yeah.
gonna be in,
Have to.
to
Yeah,
get into
okay.
compliance.
But I've been cutting it at the curb. Of course, obviously, the next day, it's growing over it
Well,
again.
then you need to cut it past, and then Ms.
But
Walker
I
has just
can-
pointed out that you may have a vegetation permit,
I do.
which is kind of rare in the village, that they allow you to plant out to the street, but you have to maintain it according to that permit. You may want to take a look, it may say 2 or 3 feet off the street, in which case you need to get it 2 or 3 feet off the street. I mean, you've got a good xeriscape thing going there, but you have to keep up on it,
Yeah, and it's,
or it just becomes
I know.
a
But
hazard to others.
I'm not arguing, and I'm just saying that, I get out there probably once a week, but then I'm not here for 2 or 3 weeks. I can't do it,
Yeah,
so I'm
well,
not here.
what you need to do is, I'm going to have to order, what's the fine amount here?
This has been out for 13 days, so at $50 a day, so it's $650 and
plus
continuing.
You just need to run out there and do it, and call her as soon as it's done to get it stopped. By it, I mean the fine.
All right.
Because if you get the fine stopped, then you can deal with coming back for a reduction or doing
All right.
whatever. But it's a public safety problem. It's not just, some guy who's got a not inspected air conditioner that's working. This could actually trip up kids on the street and stuff, so, and on the sidewalk, so it needs to be fixed. $650 plus continuing is granted. Call her as soon as it's done, so you can
All right.
stop and get that affidavit of compliance in your file.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Next, we
We're
have-
now moving back to the fine mitigation hearings, page 8, case 18-0554, 780 Camellia Drive, Elizabeth Thompson.
Okay,
Your name for the record, ma'am?
Elizabeth Thompson.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the fine amount in this case is $300. And I don't have a cost total for you as they far exceed, and we need evidence on the
it's
record.
gonna far exceed whatever your costs are. They're all yours. Well, the last 2 anyway.
That's 4.
Gotcha. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to enter into evidence Exhibit 1, the order assessing fine, Exhibit 2, affidavit of compliance, Exhibit 3, request for mitigation, and Exhibit 4, verification of ownership.
Okay. At least it's a small amount. Gotcha. All right, Ms. Thompson, why should the fine be reduced?
Out of the kindness of your heart. I did try to fix it as soon as possible. I had to get somebody to remove the structure that was there. And, you know, I don't want to go through the whole case again, but it was something that was there and it was built with the house and I didn't know. And, you know, I know the whole ignorance thing. I know it's my fault. I take full responsibility on,
Well, here's
on
my
not
problem,
knowing.
though. It's just, you know, you see their costs in these cases. They range from thousands to, you know, $6,000, and you're at $300, and you know that's really the cost of recording some of these things and her time to prepare the orders, really. So it really makes it really difficult for me to reduce it because you're really eating into their costs for something you helped create. So.
Yeah, the issue we have, I mean, is the same for these small fine amounts. We still have additional recording costs to release the liens. So there's still more costs to go.
But hey, you're here, $250. I'll take $50 off of it, and at least you got something for sitting here for an hour or two.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Is that
All
by
right.
312?
By 312.
Thank you. Next thing on the same page, 18-0203, 423 Las Palmas Street, Willett M. Bernard.
Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, the order assessing fine. Exhibit 2, affidavit of compliance. Exhibit 3, request for fine mitigation. And Exhibit 4, verification of ownership.
Oh, well. June, everyone else was September. Okay. But it was fixed in July.
No, complied on June 21st.
Oh my God, so,
The fine amount's $500.
okay. Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Willa Bernard.
Okay. And why should the fine be reduced? It's $500?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm still,
Why
I'm
should the-
still playing catch up for my heart attack and my stroke.
Okay. Any other comments from the village?
She had come, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
She had come to a previous mitigation, but you reduced the fine from 500 to 200, and she said she wouldn't be able to pay that because of her medical problems. And
So
you
she
told her to come back. Yeah, she withdrew it at that hearing.
Good move, $100 by 312. See if you can pay that off and you'll be done.
Appreciate it, sir.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, moving back to page 1, back to fine assessment hearings, case 18-1309, 119 Country
No,
Club.
we're gonna take a 1-minute break so I can go
Okay.
there. Everyone run, everyone run. Yes, I've been drinking jacket. It's freaking cold.
You're cold up there now?
You want.
Thank you, Special Magistrate. We're on, back to the fine assessment hearings on page 1, case 18-1309, 119 Country Club Way, Edward A. Negron.
Okay.
I'd like to enter into evidence the order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right. Service by posting. Please proceed.
This has been out of compliance for 13 days. We'd be asking for a fine in the amount of $325 and continuing.
Granted.
18-1384, 170 Bilbao Street, Reno L. and Deborah C. Wells.
Okay.
I'd like to enter into evidence the order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, Exhibit 3, picture, and Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Excellent. You have a signed green card. Lexus's. Okay. And the amounts, if any?
This was out of compliance for 4 days, so I'm sorry, incorrect. We'd be asking for an order of no fine on this.
No fine is granted.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. 18-1399, 165 Rivera Court, Kenneth T. and Connie L. Ingram.
I'd like to enter into evidence the order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, permit information.
Okay, you have an affidavit of service via posting. What would you like?
This has been out of compliance for 6 days. It was out of compliance for 6 days, so a fine of $150 and not continuing.
150, no continuing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next, 18-1431, 145 Bilbao Street, Michael D. Harrison.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, permit information.
And permit pictures. Hi, folks. All right, you have service via posting. Please proceed.
This has been out for 13 days, so we'd be asking for a fine of $325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted.
18-1585, 208 Natchez Trace Avenue, Lauriston Sims.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay, you have a signed green card here. Nice shed, probably right in this setback. All right, what would you like with this one?
Again, 13 days with fine of $325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted.
18-1598, 757 Orchid Drive, Charles Evans and Joanne Downey.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, a somewhat signed green card, if you would consider that a signature. All right, what do we have here?
Again, out of compliance for 13 days, so $325 and continuing.
So they cleaned it a spot, but they didn't paint it. Cool. Okay, 325 plus continuing is granted.
18-1636, 223 Ponce de Leon Street, Fitzroy O. and Pauline L. Darlington.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay, we have another signed green card. People really need some penmanship practice. Go ahead.
This has been out of compliance for 13 days, so a fine of $325 and continuing.
All right, what are we here for? Cancel without permit. Granted.
Thank you. 18-1739, 291 River Bluff Lane, Alejandro Tarbe.
I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, the previous order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Well, the signatures are getting slightly better. Signed green card equals service.
This has been out for 13 days at $50 a day, so the fine's $650 and continuing.
Ah, Carolina dealer. 600 plus continuing is granted.
$650.
650 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you, sir. 18-1801, 117 South State Road 7, M&L Realty Holdings, LLC.
I'd like to enter into evidence the order finding violation, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
Ooh, someone signed Anna. Okay, so you have service via signed green card. What would you like?
This has been out for 13 days. We've asked him for $325 fine and continuing.
I hope the advertising is worth it. 325 plus continuing is granted.
18-1458, 123 Meadowlark Drive, Aranci Cardero.
Like
That
to
was
enter the
very good. I
following,
like the Aranci part.
following documents and evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Wow, signatures in this world are going downhill. Signed green card equals service. They have an affidavit of compliance. Do we have a fine amount or no?
Yes, sir. It was out for 5 days, so $125 and not continuing.
125, no continuing is granted.
Thank you.
18-1542, 133 Heron Parkway, Amy F. and Daryl Nelson.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
Let's see how the Nelsons do on signatures. Okay, they have a sprawled signed green card. What would you like on this one?
We would ask you to grant a continuance and require compliance by 12/27 or appearance at the 1/9/2019 fine assessment hearing or a $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
'Cause you really
18.
wanted a 1227 clearance date.
-1604, 1084 Grandview Circle, TJ Salter.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
I was with a buddy in Belize, and he had a signature like this, and they made him take his passport to the store to cash a traveler's check. At least they cared. All right, you have service for the signed green card. We have Hondas that need to be weed eated better, and
Disabled vehicles.
Explorers that could use tags, and
Swells that need saws.
badly abused swales. What would you like?
This has been out for 13 days, so a fine of $325 and continuing.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1658, 159 Sunflower Circle, Jean F. Duderval.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Affidavit of service equals service.
This has been out for 13 days. We'd be asking for a fine of $325 and continuing.
325 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you.
18-1508, 10863 Del Monte Way, Arthur H. Jacobs.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay, affidavit of service is service. See, they should be out there on their knees pulling this stuff out like my wife and myself do.
This again has been out for 13 days, so $325 and
325 plus
continuing.
continuing is granted.
Thank you.
18-1748, 120 Sparrow Drive, Park View at Palm Beach Condominium Association, Inc.
Like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, previous order finding violation.
Bless you.
2, some bit owner information. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
Wow, a signature that's got a couple letters I can read. Okay.
Bless you.
Okay, what would you like on this one? You have service by green
This
card.
complied, but it was out for 11 days, so we'll be asking for $275 and not continuing.
275, no continuing is granted.
Thank you.
Now to the repeat violations, 18-2005, 149 Valencia Street, U.S. Bank National Association Trust.
Don't they have any money for yard service?
Code section is 1557. This is a repeat violation for high grass and weeds. I observed this violation on 11/30/18 and posted it on the property. Like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4, picture.
Someone really needs an edger along with their lawnmower. You have service via posting. What would you like?
This has been out for 13 days at $100 a day, so a fine of $1,300 and continuing.
1300 plus continuing is granted.
Thank you. 18-2010, 2926 East Fontana Court, Carno Payne.
Code section is 1557. This is a repeat violation for high grass and weeds. I observed this violation on 12/5/18 and posted it on the property. Like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, order finding violation. Exhibit 3, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 4. And I also want to say I had a phone call yesterday saying that they got the mail, the owner got the mail, even.
Oh, you didn't get a lawnmower. You have service via posting. What would you like?
This was out of compliance for 6 days, so we'd be asking for a fine of $300 and not continuing.
300, no continuing is granted.
18-1829, 1209 Moonlight Way, Alexandra, Brickari.
Like to enter the following, Code Section 1557, repeat violation, high grass and weeds. Observe the violation on 10/17/18. Send out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/18/18, and posted it to the property. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of repeat violation, notice of hearing, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures.
All right, you have service via posting. This, I like this. This is all from October when we had the rainy season.
This has been out for 57 days at $50 a day, so we'd be asking for a
big
fine
number.
of $3,136 and continuing, and we'd also be asking for authorization to abate, do a one-time abatement, which would include the village's administrative costs in the amount of $206 plus $80 for the mowing.
For a $286 mowing on a $3,136 fine, no big deal. Granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. 18-1847, 159 Sunflower Circle, Jean F. Duderval.
Code Section 1557, this is a repeat violation for high grass and weeds. I observed this violation on 10/21/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/22/18, and posted it to the property as well. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of repeat violation, notice of hearing, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, previous order finding violation. Exhibit 3, verification ownership. Exhibit 4, pictures. Exhibit 5, affidavit of compliance.
That's good. Once again, October when it was raining. You have service via posting. What would you like?
This was out for 25 days, so we'd be asking for a fine in the amount of $1,250 and not continuing.
1250, no continuing is granted.
Thank you.
Moving to the violation hearings, 18-1731, 111 Prado Street, Ryan Little.
Code section is 6190A, drive and sidewalk are stained. I observed this violation on 7/20/18 and posted the notices on the property. I'd like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, you have an affidavit of service, so you have service. Let me see, what's the problem with Prado Street, driveway and sideways stain, okay. Sidewalk's much worse than the driveway, but, okay. What would you like?
This one, we'd be asking for compliance by 1/31 or the 2/13 fine hearing or a $25 a day fine.
Granted.
And Special Magistrate, if we could go back to case 18-1829.
Yes,
I think there was an error in the multiplication on the fine amount.
yes, because 3136
Yeah, the
sounds really
6
weird.
didn't make sense to me. So that fine amount actually was supposed to be $2,850 in continuing,
That's different, granted.
plus the abatement, stays the same. Thank you.
2850 plus, continuing plus abatement is granted.
Thank you, sir.
All right, 1791.
Yep, 1791, 217 Parkwood Drive, Julie A. Curiel.
Code section is 144A, disabled unregistered vehicle. I observed this violation on 10/12/18, got the green card back signed. I'd like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay, worst signature of the day. That looks like a minus sign, and the Honda does not have a tag and is pointed towards the street, which makes it so obvious. What would you like?
This is a finding of fact, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so someone did something. Excellent. Finding of fact is granted.
Thank you. 18-1819, 860 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Anna I. Rodriguez Living Trust.
Code sections are 2318B23 and 14.2. Trailer is parked in the backyard and debris not screened from view. I observed this violation on 10/17/18. I mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing, got the green card back signed but not dated. I'd like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Okay. You have a signed green card, if you want to call that a signature.
This
Would
one's
you
also
like-
a finding of fact.
Finding of fact is granted.
18-1822, 859 Camellia Drive, SRP Sub LLC.
Code section is 15132, bare spots in the swale. I observed this violation on 10/17/18, mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing, got the green card back signed. I'd like to enter into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
Thank you, Kelly, for signing it in a respectable, readable manner. Okay, you have a bad spot in the lawn. What would you like?
Compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
18-1823 890 Camellia Drive, Derek and Bridget Del Rio.
The code section is 2318B3. The description is parking on the lawn. I observed this violation on 10/17/18. Mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and got the green card back signed but not dated. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
Well, at least, you know, I thought, oh, I like the F-150. I used to have one of those, but then they switched cars on me, so it's not just a truck thing. You have a signed green card. What would you like?
Compliance by 12/27 or the 1/9 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
18-1839 166 Parkwood Drive, Winston W. White.
Code section is 6190A. Structure is stained, faded. I observed this violation on 10/19/18. Mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified. Got the green card back signed but not dated. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, so the stating's above the,
Basically the whole house.
yeah, well, you can't tell on the sides with the bright light because it's bad, so I'm looking right over the garage door. Is that indicative of the entire house?
Yes.
Thank you. You have a signed green card. What would you like?
This is a finding of fact?
Yes.
right? This is a
Finding
finding
of
of fact.
fact?
Yes.
Granted.
18-1850 Oleander Drive, Pedro and Elsa N. Martinez.
Code section is 2318B1, prohibited vehicle. I observed this violation on 10/22/18. Mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and got the green card back signed but not dated. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
What is that? It's like some sort of gator thing?
Pressure washing.
Oh,
rig.
pressure washing trailer?
Yes.
Oh, okay, with a trunk in the front.
Like a lockbox.
Yeah, lockbox. We use those for horsey stuff, but yeah, you get it. Okay, what would you like on this one?
Compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
18-1889 11662 Dahlia Drive, Paula Kerr.
Code sections are 2318B13, prohibited vehicle and parking on the lawn. I observed this violation on 10/28/18, mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and got the green card back signed but not dated. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
The bright yellow truck, but then it's replaced by a muted reddish truck. What would you like with this?
Compliance by 12/27 or the 1/9 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
1227-1925 is granted, and you had service via signed green card.
18-1903 848 Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, Lonia F. Harris.
Code section is 2318B3, parking on the lawn. I observed this violation on 10/31/18, mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and got the green card back signed but not dated. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, picture.
All right, is that U-Haul still there?
No.
Okay, so what are we doing on this one?
Finding of fact, sir.
Finding of fact is granted.
18-1911 11963 Southern Boulevard, Crestwood Square Limited.
Code section is 2041, prohibited signage. I observed this violation on 11/1/18, mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and got the green card back. Like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, Exhibit 3, picture, and Exhibit 4, permit information.
Okay,
This is a finding of fact.
that's fine. I was just reading about this on the Acreage Speaks. Foamy.
I was told it's fa-me.
Foamy? Yeah, it's sort of a play on words if you like Vietnamese food.
Finding of fact is requested.
Granted.
Thank you. 18-1923 11141 Southern Boulevard, BPP Southern Palm LLC.
Code section is 2041, prohibited signage. I observed this violation on 11/4/18, mailed the notice of violation, notice of hearing certified, and posted it on the property. I'd like to enter into evidence, Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, and affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, so there's a bunch of little pictures laying around there. We have service via posting. What would you like?
Compliance by 12/27 with a 1/9 fine assessment hearing or a $50 a day fine.
12/27/1950 is granted.
Yes, sir, thank you. 18-1655-10115 Southern Boulevard, A and Josephine Tepedino Trust.
Code Section 622-108.4, replaced or installed a sign without a permit. I observed this violation on 9/30/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/30/18. It was delivered on 11/2/18. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. No, I got the green card too. I had USPS tracking. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, AS400 permit information. Exhibit 4 is picture.
Okay, you don't get like extra credit for having 3 services, okay? One is good. Where is this Taco Bell?
On Southern.
Oh, it's the one in the...
By Burlington.
Yeah, okay. They changed the sign to add breakfast there?
Yeah.
How exciting. You have service. What would you like?
Compliance by 131 or the 213 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
131, 213, 25?
Yes, sir.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1770177 Sunflower Circle, Carlos A. and Jessica T. Nava.
Code Section 06190A1 and 2, the driveway is stained paint is weathered or faded. Observe this violation on 10/4/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/4/18, and got the USPS tracking. I'd like to know the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, USPS tracking information. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, your USPS tracking qualifies for service. Okay. Dirty sidewalks and things?
We'd be asking for compliance by 131 or the 213 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1772 1462 Thornridge Lane, Crystal M. and Ramon L. Rentas Leon.
Code Section 2318B, 14/4, 2317, parking on the front lawn, disabled vehicle parking over the sidewalk. Observed this violation on 10/4/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/5/18. They signed on 10/9/18. Like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Well, I thought you were trying to get them for the Halloween decorations. Okay, so which is it, the gray car or the one under the
The gray car, I'm not sure about the one under the
tarp? But the gray car is 518 and this was past 518, so you
Yes.
got a or unregistered vehicle. What would you like?
On this one, code section 23-17, which is the parking over the sidewalk, is a finding of fact. And for the other sections, we'd ask for compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
All right, finding of fact on 23-18B.
2317.
2317.
Yes, sir.
Oh, God, okay. And the rest of it's 131?
Yes, sir, or 213 or 25.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1797 10103 Pinafore Lane, Mark F. Toussaint.
Code Section 91942, installed a fence without a permit, fence needs repaired. I observed this violation on 10/12/18, sent out notice of violation on notice of hearing on 10/12/18, and posted it to the property. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
Looks like they rolled the truck.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. I could make money in the village selling weathered pickets. That way you wouldn't notice the new repairs as much.
And
All right,
Special Magistrate, just to make sure, your agenda, does it have code section 12-4C?
Yeah, which is garbage can?
That's been removed.
Okay, 12-4C is out.
Yes, sir.
Which just leaves us with the new fence without permit, house needs repairs?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
We'd be asking-
131, 12, 213, 25?
25, yes, sir.
Granted.
Thank you. 18-1828 10198 Yeoman Lane, Winfield, and Julie A. Trowbridge.
Code Section 15132 and 06190A12C, basketball hoop is curbside, and house is painted 2 different colors. I observed this violation on 10/17/18, mailed out a notice violation, notice of hearing on 10/18/18. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Oh, okay, so it's bluish in spots.
Oh, now it's whitish in spots.
Now it's whitish in spots?
Yeah.
Okay, you have a signed green card, what would you like?
Compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1812-109 Bob White Road, IH6 property, Florida LP.
Code Section 06190A1, 3 and 5, 14-2, 1253. Sidewalk and driveway are stained. There's debris on the driveway. I observed the violation on 10/16/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/17/18. They signed for it on 10/20/18. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay, you have a signed green card.
And this one would be asking for compliance by 12/27 or the 1/9 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted, 12/27/19/25, just to keep it different.
18-1832, 123 Teal Court, John D. Emile.
Code Section 06190A1 and 2, the structure is stained. I observed this violation on 10/18/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/18/18 and posted it to the property. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, affidavit of service. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, affidavit of compliance.
So finding of fact?
Please.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1840, 1141 Grandview Circle, Jennifer L. Rodriguez and Rodrigo P. Ovejero.
Ovejero. Heh.
All the codes on that. Yeah.
Ooh, Dodge
Section
Charger.
2318B, 622-108.4, 6135, prohibited vehicles parking on the backyard, unpermitted driveway extension, house numbers not on structure. I observed this violation on 10/19/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/19/18, and they signed for it on 10/22/18. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, sketch from permitting. And Exhibit 5, AS 400 permit information.
So the Dodge isn't even part of it, huh?
No.
That's a different case.
Yeah.
All right, you have a signed green card, what would you like?
In this case, code section 23-18B, which is prohibited vehicles and vehicles parking in the backyard, as well as 6-135, which is the house numbers not on the structure, are findings of fact.
Okay, hold it, we gotta draw my Venn diagram. All right, 2318B and which one?
6-135.
That's not hard to draw, I can do that. Those are FOFs.
Yes, sir, and for
Fact,
the
and the
remaining,
rest of it is
compliance by
131.
131 or 213 or $25 a day fine.
131, 213, 25 is granted.
Thank you. 18-1853, 101 Heron Parkway, Stephanie Rosa and Rodrigo Guzman.
Code Section 622-105.5, window permit has expired. I observed this violation on 10/24/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/24/18, and I received the green card back on 11/5/18. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, AS 400 permit information.
All right, do you have a signed green card, do you have service?
On this one, we'd be asking for compliance by 131 or the 213 fine assessment hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. 18-1874, confidential record, Chester C. and Renee M. Gibson.
Code Section 15132, the swell has a bare area. I observed this violation on 10/24/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/25/18, and I spoke to the owner on 10/30/18. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, so you have actual service speaking
sir.
to him? Good, okay. Oh, there's the green Charger. Yeah. All right. I was wondering when that one was gonna come up.
This
Actually,
one, we'd be asking for compliance again by 131 or the 213 fine hearing or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Right.
You can see the house. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
You got rats or something?
No, sir. 18-1899, 174 Bob White Road, Michael R. and Stacy L. Russo Jr.
Code Section 170, I'm giving the address. Code Section
Section 174.
0619 GT 15132, front lawn has bare area. I observed this violation on 10/30/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 10/30/18. And I spoke with the owner also on 11/2/18, actual service. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, messages from the owner. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures. Exhibit 4, AS400 permit information.
All right,
She's applying
actual
for a
service.
driveway extension.
They're what? Decline?
She's gonna make the driveway bigger.
Well, she should, because she's parking there.
Yep.
We'd be asking for compliance by 131 or the 213 fine assessment hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1924103 Sunflower Circle, IH5 property, Florida LP.
Code section 15132, 1564, 06190 AD 942. Grass and weeds are growing in the sidewalk. Vertical clearance is not met over the sidewalk. High grass and weeds in the planting area, around the fence and around the home. Fence needs repaired. I observed this violation on 11/5/18, sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 11/5/18, and it was delivered on 11/13/18. I'd like to enter those following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing, USPS tracking information. Exhibit 2, verification ownership. Exhibit 3, pictures.
Okay, you have a USPS tracking confirmed for service. Some people just aren't yard people.
We'd be asking for compliance by 12/27 or the 1/9 fine assessment hearing, or $25 a day fine.
Granted.
Thank you.
18-1939 217 Sandpiper Avenue, James G. and Vicky Stanfield.
Code section 06190D, weeds are growing on the fence. I observed this violation on 11/8/18. Sent out notice of violation, notice of hearing on 11/8/18. I got a signed green card. I'd like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation, notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures. And I believe I had miscellaneous items on there too, or no? I took care of that, yes.
All right, what are you?
14-2 miscellaneous
Okay.
items.
Okay, what's the miscellaneous items?
14-2.
What is the
It
miscellaneous?
was that rug in front of the window.
That's fine.
They removed that.
So is that a finding, or is that just off?
Should be a.
Finding of
Finding of
fact
fact.
for 14-2, please.
14.2, okay.
And then for the remaining section, compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
131, 213, 25 is granted. for
Thank
the
you.
rest of it.
18-1928 is being pulled.
That's wonderful.
18-1929 588 Peppergrass Run, Retha W. Harvey.
Code section 15141, description tree in the front yard has been hat racked. This violation was observed on 11/5/2018 and sent certified mail, and it was signed for it, but I couldn't tell what the date was. I would like to enter the following documents into evidence. Exhibit 1, notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 2, verification of ownership, and Exhibit 3, pictures.
All right, you have a signed green card with a very difficult to figure out date.
Compliance by 131 or the 213 fine hearing, or $25 a day fine.
131, 213, 25 is granted.
And then moving to the health safety one-time abatement hearings, case 18-1988 has complied, so that's being pulled from the agenda.
Let's see. Okay, anything further?
No, sir.
Just sign this.
Oh, she says just sign these. All right, please let it be known that the magistrate is signing minutes. Just the one or more?
Yeah, just the one.
Anything further?
No, sir.
Nothing further. 8:06. We are adjourned.
Wait.